Alright, and we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special Studio Mega stream. This is the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Spoilercast stream. This was coming to you right now. Mega.
Hello.
Mega, why don't you tell us what this stream is going to be about?
Okay, so we're going to talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I just beat it last night at like 3 a.m. I don't know what time of the morning you beat it like a week ago, but it happened.
Oh man, no, I think I was, I don't know, I had been like early morning, like 6 a.m. because that's when I was destroying my sleep schedule for this game.
Yeah, and this game is a sleep schedule destroyer. So, Rebirth is phenomenal, truly a game of our time, probably a contender for Game of the Year. You know, it's a whole thing, especially because it's only the middle entry in a trilogy, and boy, does it feel like it. When you get to the end, which is part of the reason why we want to have this discussion, there's a whole thing there, but the whole... I know it seems a little reductive to say it this way, but the whole thing is that it's a whole thing. Like, this game is top to bottom, like, a process. It's a whole... It is a journey. It is, you know, meant to evoke that journey feel. And there's a lot of stuff going on there. And there's so many things to discuss. I want to say at the top, I think, because this is a good comment to have that'll kind of encapsulate my... my overall feelings on this game. So, we're doing this stream on Sunday, because I said on the Let's Talk FGO that released yesterday that we would do it Saturday. When I said those words, we were recording Friday night. I was like, surely there's only 5 or 6 hours left in this game. Spoilers. There were 10 hours left in this game. So, when you get those reviewer impressions where some of them say that, like, there's almost too much of this game, I kind of understand them. There's a lot. There's a lot in this game. And at times, it will probably feel to you like there's too much, like you're overwhelmed. But also, I want to put forward as a high-level thought, thematically, I think this is the point of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There's a recurring narrative that really crops up at the end that basically reads... We all know we've only got so much time in this life. Everybody's clock is ticking. Possibly even our world's clock is ticking. And so you got to make the most with the time you've been given. So, yeah, I think that Rebirth, which you are seeing on screen right now, also in case you can't tell, Lucky is playing. He has the controls. But... I think Rebirth is so content-packed because the point is for you to spend all this time with everybody. So, yeah, there are times when it feels like it's a lot. There's so much stuff to do. And it's, like, arguably excessive. They did not have to go to these lengths. There's, like... Put this in perspective, you know. Let's see, my final time was like 105 hours, I think. Your final save time is what, like 112?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so much stuff. There's like dozens of Coliseum matches. There's over 20 Chocobo races. There's like 30 Queen's Blood players to defeat, not counting puzzle matches as well. So much stuff. All the steals. And this isn't even getting into hard mode. There's, like, a whole extra as well.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if those of you who tuned in right away when the stream started, you lucky had it pulled up on the pause menu, and you can see that everybody is max level for him. So, like, you know, doing all the stuff. And to the question of will the third game be shorter, I don't know. I want to say, like, I don't know if we want to jump right into analyzing the ending right away, but overall... I think I could say that I was quite surprised that, I mean, I also think this is a thematic point of this game, but I was quite surprised that when we get to the end of this game, and again, we're talking about, this is a full spoiler cast, we're talking about the endings and stuff, you know, we're not going to go into detail just yet, but, you know, the whole thing is under the spoiler warning. Watch out. Watch out. When we get to the end of this game, in terms of the raw plot structure of Final Fantasy VII, the original 1997 RPG, we end exactly where the first disc ended.
Exactly where the first disc ended.
Yeah, like, look, despite the fact that there are clearly different things going on, we have extra themes added. There is some, I think, meta commentary about the nature of video game remakes in there. We end where they said the story would end. This was a thing when I was going through chapter 13, which is Temple of the Ancients, and there's still a whole chapter to go. I was like, are we setting up to thematically end it here? Because we've moved some set pieces around geographically. Is this gonna I kept in my mind going oh, is this substituting for this? Because there are some areas that I feel thematically substitute for each other. I'm pretty sure that they basically kit bashed Nibelheim 2 when you actually go back to Nibelheim with some of the vibes of Mideel. Because there is a hospital in Mideel, which is a city in the south in the islands, that becomes very plot relevant later. And I think that if you do go there, because you can go to Mideel while searching for the Temple of the Ancients, there might be some guys in black robes at that hospital. It feels like that's what they did, is they okay, so we have no reason for you to go to Mideel in this point in the story. It's technically optional. What if we just, put some of those vibes in Nibelheim? Well, you know?
You mentioned that, and that just might be a plot-saving contrivance, because Mideel becomes more important later, but if they basically kit-bashed it that with Nibelheim, they can just, remove Mideel and just use Nibelheim as that set piece for later, and I think it actually would have stronger narrative consequences or impact.
And they could do that. I think they will still show you Mideel, because they did say that they want to have you visit every place you could visit in the original game, but they're going to change the order, which also happens. I think generally what we're doing is just we're trying to cut down on redundancy. There are some cases where you have to revisit set pieces, but we've mentioned this before, but it is technically a spoiler. There's no Rocket Town in this game. You don't go to Cid's hometown at all. Because arguably going to Rocket Town twice would be redundant, because the first time you go is dumb. We could say this. The first time you go to Rocket Town, it's just, okay, you cross Mount Nebel, cool. What happens now? Well, there's a giant rocket sticking out of the ground, so I guess we go here. You go there, and you're like, hey, you seen Sephiroth? Everybody's like, nope, have you seen our cool rocket? Terrible shame Shinra never launched it. Oh, what's that? The president's here? He's gonna launch the rocket?
No, he just wants to borrow a plane because he needs it, I guess.
Yeah, so that is another edit that actually makes a lot more sense. Move all that out, and they strategically replaced things to make it work. For instance, putting a boss fight with Palmer way up at Saucer, as opposed to the original where you fought Palmer in Cid's backyard as he tries to steal the tiny Bronco. Why did we send Palmer to steal the tiny Bronco and not any of our Turks? I don't know. But yeah, so there's a lot of shifting stuff around. So I was thinking oh, are we just gonna flow right into the end? No. You go through the Sleeping Wood. There's a weird dream sequence. You go to the Forgotten Capital. The scene happens, but also doesn't happen, and then it happens again, and I don't know what's going on anymore. But it has an ending that is okay, we're moving on to the next step. So I don't know how big the next game's gonna be. It's gonna be weird. But yeah, so like I said, there's a lot of game, there's a lot of stuff going on. If I do want to say, if people are interested in the overall rating, right, I would probably put this game squarely in the 9 out of 10 range, in the A. It is not a perfect game. It's real damn good, though. And most of its flaws are outweighed by the good quality. As our boy Lucky is jamming out in the arena. So,
spelling is a little blue sometimes.
It is.
Like I'm doing dual not dual hard mode, dual special bosses here, and they're a pain.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So I mentioned this to you before, but I've been thinking about this. I feel like there's four major areas of the video games that we can like kind of discuss the whole entirety of Rebirth. You know, there's obviously character stuff, there's the story itself, which we've alluded to some parts, but also like there's a lot of things to get in there. There is the mechanics, it is a video game, and then there's just the general aesthetics and presentation, you know, the look, the way it's like shot, acted, music, comp, and stuff like that. If we want to, we can start, since you're showing gameplay right now, we can start by talking about the way the game like plays.
Sure.
So, there are some systemic improvements from Remake. The addition of synergy commands is pretty good, giving you something you can do even when you don't have ATB gauges that is special, right? And overall, it's a very good system. I do kind of feel like not all synergy skills, I think skills is the commands and abilities is the menu, or is it the other way around?
It's skills in the menu. It's skills that on the block menu and its abilities, I think. Yeah, I got my ass kicked.
Yeah, it happens. Not all synergy abilities are created the same.
Let's see here. What were they?
Like, you know, you I know are a big fan of Cloud and Barrett's Bullet Batter.
Bullet Batter. I also like Tifa's. Tifa and Aerith both have the power cleave. I think Aerith is just called spell cleave, though.
Yes, and technically Cloud has that with several people. Like Yuvi can also do the spell blade, for instance. And somebody else I think can power cleave. Is it Red? But yeah, some of them are not like created equal, I think. Bullet Batter is very good because that's just a like 3-hit ranged attack that's very easy to pull off with Barrett. I believe Barrett and Tifa have a similar move. It's not as long ranged. I think is it Friendly Fire?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like a spread, but it's still, you know, a ranged attack you can do. Tifa's 2 commands are interesting, but are kind of situational. Like, one half of them is she does a really big jump uppercut, which is very good if you can actually stand under a flying enemy. The other is kind of like a flying spin kick, which does raise you a little, but is also good for like long range. So like, some of them are all right, but other times I definitely feel like some of them were a little odd. Like one of Aerith's big ones, Combat Savior, is just get an ally to follow up on your attacks. And that does presumably do some ATB building, but it is a little odd. Fine, clear. But I'm definitely like, you can definitely see there's some pretty good like adjustments to the combo. We've mentioned this before, but to reiterate, basically abilities like parry and deadly dodge are just coded into the game now. When Cloud dodges in combat, you see he does a little, you know, parry slide, which actually does damage to enemies. If you tap the button during that, you do a ranged attack. If you hold it, you do a launcher. If you hold the attack button initially, Cloud will dash to enemies. I do kind of wish he would dash to aerial enemies properly all the time when he does that. Because, like, he tracks enemies, but if they're flying, he'll, like, track to where they were on the ground. Which is awkward sometimes. But, like, it's very solid. And the actual synergy abilities where you spend the
like
charges.
Right there, you see you just went to the bottom. I think if you
like,
dodge first, you're more likely to go up. Like,
yeah.
if you just hold it, you don't. But if you dash and go up, then you go up.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I see what they're going for. Aerial combat's still a little awkward. I would hope for a third game refinement. We can just make it so you can just get in the air. I feel like a lot of my, not all of them, but a lot of my frustrating battles had to dealt with aerial enemies who are like moving very fast. Because this is still an action RPG, and so if you are not physically in a position to land certain attacks, you will whiff. And usually you'll whiff something big, like a limit break or a synergy skill, which sucks. I will admit that by the time I got to the end game, when I, Cloud and a couple of the others, I say a couple of the others because I'm just using the EXP for Mysteria a little bit, but a couple of the others, clocked to level 50, I do feel like for several of the fights in the final sequence, like the temple and beyond, I was reaching such a level of, like, staggering default enemies and bosses that characters were able to safely limit break multiple times per fight, sometimes. So, like, it doesn't feel as bad if you accidentally whiff one of those, but through most of the game, a limit break is, like, it's special. You're only going to get one. Showing off some of Aerith's special moves. I do want to say it's weird, but this might lead into another point. So your majority party for this was Cloud, obviously. Until you get to New Game Plus, you can't switch Cloud out of the party.
Yeah.
But it was Cloud, Tifa, Barret, right?
Yeah.
I used them a decent amount. I also used a decent amount of Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith. They did some improvements. I do still kind of feel like Aerith's combat style is a little clunky.
It is a little bit. Like, Aerith still relies on caster moves. I'll fucking
Yeah, and like it's good. She's got a range attack. It's magic based. Sometimes that's a help. Sometimes that's a hindrance.
Radiant War is great, by the way.
Yes, that's the thing. Like they revamped her wards a little bit, and so I think her wards are really good. My main problem with Aerith is her generating the ATB to summon her own wards. Like you can with materia like ATB boost and first strike, you can technically give her like 2 ATB bars right at the start. But I always felt like Aerith is a character who needed time to build, and there were just some fights that were not made for that.
I do think ATB ward also helps with that, but
yeah, that requires an ATB to set up. It is good, yes.
Well, the problem...
And you have to set it up on somebody else.
The problem with Aerith is it's not necessarily that she needs a little bit of time, it's that this game still has the problem of whoever you're controlling becomes the enemy focus. It's not as bad as it were, but if you switch to Aerith, you can guarantee that your enemies will start homing in on her, and you're like, no, I need you to not be, blowing me up constantly so I can build some shots.
And also, I want to say, when enemies do switch aggro and it's not because you switch characters, it's a little weird. I don't think we're at the point yet where I want to discuss the final run of the boss marathon, but the very final boss, he cooked me a couple times. And some of that was because he would switch to targeting Aerith, not necessarily because Cloud died. And it was like, whoa, you're cramping my style.
I'm cramping my camera right now.
That is also another thing that still happens. Some of these arenas are small and some of these enemies are big. You can get fuckboxed in this game because everybody has full physics collision. Every part of that giant stone dragon, Lucky can't walk through that right now. And you also get to see Barret fat roll, which is one of Barret's problems. I do like how every character is unique, but sometimes it's just like, God, I wish I could fucking evade. Tifa's dodge is so good, guys. Her power slide, like, it's real good. But Barret and Aerith have to kind of like side-sidle a little bit. So yeah, it's like it's solid, but enemy aggro is still a little weird. They've done a lot to like improve the mechanics, like you'll see in this fight as well, but and several other points. We've got some very almost like Final Fantasy 14-esque, or even I would say harkening back to some classic Kingdom Hearts action RPG vibes, where like you will see fucking lines on the ground, you'll see like cones and circles and piss puddles. The Phoenix summon fight could literally be a 14 trial. There's fucking ad phases, and Phoenix will draw like cone sectionals and grid squares on the ground, right?
Yeah.
So like they've done a lot to improve the depth of this game, but there's still some fuckers. We haven't even talked about it because it hasn't come up on screen, but Lucky and I both do not like underground enemies. It's an extension basically of enemies who dodge everything. I'm gonna pivot so I can see this in real time. Lucky's getting cooked a little bit.
Rings of Fire are dumb. Especially when you have enemies who will knock you into the Ring of Fire.
Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking putting Jabberwock and King Zoo in the same fight. Lucky mentioned this earlier, but right now he's doing doubles of elite mobs, elite fiends. These guys are tough fights on their own. Putting two of them together when I don't think their mechanics are balanced for it, pretty crazy. It's part of the thing. But I feel like this, talking about like in particular Aerith's combat style, it does kind of put me in a mood to say like, it's gonna be a weird thought, but I hope for the third game we can continue to improve Aerith's mechanics. And some of you may be like, Omega, what the fuck are you talking about? Wait a minute, hold on. Doesn't this end at the Forgotten Capital? Yes! I still say this. I still say we have room to improve Aerith's mechanics. And I say this for two reasons. I say this for two reasons that I think, I mean, besides obviously a decent chunk of plot stuff that will make it make sense that I think that we might still see some Aerith. Because this isn't even at the end, but prior to that...
No, not now! Fuck!
I may have been soft because I was pivoting away from my microphone to look at the TV screen. I've got the live feed.
There, I lowered it.
Yeah. The game's a little loud. It's got a good sound. Yeah, we got it already. Let us know if this improves. But this isn't even at the very end of the game, but in case you couldn't tell from the beginning of the game, to remind everybody, the game opens with playable Zack in a Midgar where things are weird in a different Stamp timeline, which is a consistent modifier of which timeline you're in. What does Stamp look like? But we explicitly have gone multiversal in Rebirth. This is implied at the end of Remake, but Rebirth makes it very clear that we're working on a many worlds timeline. So like there's room for stuff, but the reason why I say mechanically that I think we're not done with Aerith as a playable character is, unless it's very well hidden from me, Rebirth does not include Aerith's ultimate weapon, and there's no sign of her ultimate limit break Great Gospel. Well, right now there's not a lot of sound going on. We'll see. We'll continue it just a little. And there are some options in the menu for some sound mixing. But yeah, that's why I'm like, this game series, right, is so committed to presenting all of the stuff that was in Final Fantasy VII, which there is a lot of stuff in Final Fantasy VII to present, that the idea that, like, they happen to have, whatchamacallit, missed, like, Aerith's ultimate limit break and stuff is just like, nah, they wouldn't do that.
Sorry, I keep finding myself that I have to keep throwing more and more healing material on people.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So I'm just...
You know, actually, I've just realized this is very weird. I didn't realize that we did. Technically, this game does Aerith's limit breaks out of order. In the original game, Planet Protection is one of her first level 3, and Fury Brand is her level 2.
Yeah, no, I guess I am gonna have to have Aerith in a second, and then she just doesn't have to get turned into stone. Because I can't give everyone a fucking cleansing materia.
I don't think there's going to be any story forking in this series.
I would be, unless you see video proof, don't believe what people say. I'm gonna be real. People are going to literally say whatever.
Thematically, we probably should start talking about the way this game ends, just because we've danced around it a little bit for almost 30 minutes, but it's kind of the big thing. So at Temple of the Ancients, which is a great segment, at times I was like, God, this keeps going, but like it's really great.
I mean, I'm just gonna take us there.
Phenomenal use of music. Like they use the subtle vibes real quick, and then when it breaks into the battle theme, I was like, holy shit. Completely breathless. But like it's phenomenal work. And yeah, there are like I think there's something to be said for like some specific like details that don't get included. Like in the original, there are like these weird little old men guys, like little weird hat guys, who are supposed to be like the spirits of Cetra who have not passed on to the live stream to like tell you shit. Those guys don't show up in the temple. There are some messages from the past, but we don't actually like see the little wizard dudes. But during this sequence, it ends in an appropriate mindfuck, because a lot of this act of the game is Cloud slowly losing his fucking mind.
They do make it a lot more pronounced in this game, and it's a little fucking wild. I think people finally saw how serious it's gonna be back in the Gungaga reactor when Cloud turns into a little bit of a mini Sephiroth there. Fucking, dodging bullets with just twisting his head. Holds his sword like Sephiroth holds Masamune. It's,
yeah.
Or was it Muramasa?
Also, once again, I will say this on mic. Mr. Prez, push this man out to helicopter. Throw him out there. You won't miss him. But yeah, so I want to throw this out there. So when we last left off, like talking about this in like Let's Talk, we may reiterate some thoughts from earlier parts of the game, but I was just at like Coral Desert / Gold Saucer, right? Mm-hmm. Just before Gungaga. Gungaga is when the game starts to take a turn, when things start to drift even more, like in the main continuity.
Oh yeah.
Because that's when we first start hearing about weapons early, including using Attack of the Weapon, the musical theme. But yeah, Cloud has a freak out in Gungaga Reactor, which is not 100% how the original game went. Tifa takes a little life stream dip early, which I was very surprised about. Yeah, here's part of the metaphor. But yeah, at the Temple of the Ancients, Cloud has a little freak out moment, which includes a little trip through time and space with Sephiroth, where Sephiroth has a little conversation about multiple worlds, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think this conversation works on two levels. One, this is explaining to the audience what the fuck is happening. But also, I feel like this is a metaphor for the process of remaking video games. Like, Sephiroth says, when we breach the boundary of fate, we create new worlds. I.e., when we go back and change shit in the continuity, we're making a new product. But, the original product is still there. There's also a new thing. And sometimes those new things they kind of just peter out. They don't go anywhere. But we may take this new thing and end back up where the old thing started, which is generally where this game is. Like, you might think, oh, we're changing shit. No. Even though we technically do kind of sort of change stuff, we still hit the events. So, like, Temple of the Ancients, Cloud has the full freak out. He wants the black materia.
Oh man, it's a thing too. You start realizing there's something not wrong with Cloud, where he's always telling us like, we gotta hurry, we have to get there. You know, we gotta get the black materia. And then he starts saying shit like, it's not a death, it's a homecoming. You're like, Cloud?
And then
come back to me?
Sephiroth literally quotes this back. And I gotta say this, okay? This is true to the original, but I know we're busy. Goddamn, guys, could you please just, like, I know Cloud's not in the mood for it, but you need to sit down with this boy and, like, talk it out to him. Like, Tifa eventually gets there in, like, chapter 14, but, like...
Well, I think the problem is like, back in, like, Costa del Sol and, like, Gold Saucer, Cloud doesn't want to really deal with anybody, but everyone else is too vacation brain. And basically every other moment, there is, like, no stopping. Like, the reason why they can't stop in Temple of the Ancient is because, you know, Shinra and the Turks is there, you know, fucking shit up, and we're like, we can't let them have the black materia.
Yeah. But, like, Cloud has such a mood, which is every time Cloud gets a little headache or something weird's going on. Also, yes, hey, by the way, we're getting real free. Welcome to the Freak Show, guys. Lucky's showing you one of the big things with this game. But every single time everybody's like, hey, Cloud, you all right? Cloud's like, I'm fine. And it's like, Cloud, you're not fine. You're saying you're fine? You're not fine. It's like such a mood. That's like Cloud's recurring character trait in this game is Cloud will have a fucking, you know, horrible PTSD flashback or a psychic attack from Sephiroth, and everybody will be like, Cloud, you okay? You're freaking out a little bit. He's like, I'm fine.
Well, to be fair, there's not much they can do about it, because they have learned that Cloud is going through the kind of cellular degradation that everyone else is, or that's what they're assuming of him.
Yeah.
And they've been following the guy in black robe this entire time, so, like, honestly, like, all they really can do is say, hey, you all right? And, again, what's going to happen if Cloud says no? Are we going to sit down? We're going to take a break? We're going to rest for a week? When we're, you know, chasing them? It's like, you can't really do that.
It's one of those things where, like, they do it a lot better than the original did, because, like, in the original FF7, Tifa just kind of, like, sits on some stuff for, like, 90% of the game. This is a lot more open-ended, where, like, Tifa is definitely, like, trying to approach Cloud and be like, hey, are you all right? I didn't realize this, but it makes perfect sense. It was actually a cut subplot from the first game that Tifa and Aerith were supposed to have conversations about the Nibelheim flashback.
Yeah, Jonathan, again, what would Cloud what would Cloud have said to people if they told him that? He'd be like, I'm fine. No, we don't need to worry about this. We need to get Sephiroth. Remember, you need more...
I mean, the thing is, like, Cloud in the forest in the Northwood says, like, yeah, I can do that. I can talk. And I think he might have, at that point, be able to talk through some stuff more. Definitely at the start of this game, he's still not in a talking mood, especially because they have that big interaction where, like, Cloud's like, yo, Tifa, I'm not sure you're real. And Tifa gets very emotionally upset at this. Rightfully so, but also, like, it kind of puts a stopper in their relationship for a little bit. And that's kind of how a lot of this goes, where there's a lot of, like, back foot, front foot kind of stuff.
Yeah. Because, I will say, well, people don't really talk to Cloud because Cloud isn't a talky person. The other characters do talk to each other. Like, Aerith and Tifa are talking. Aerith and Red are talking. Barrett's also kind of in the same headspace as Cloud, but he's actually been doing a lot of unpacking on his own, like, as you get to North Coral. It's like, I know you guys keep saying you need to talk to each other, but sometimes talking ain't actually going to solve a fucking problem. It's not.
No, there's some catharsis in this. So I think that the original FF7 has basically two main themes to the plot. One is about it's the macro scale, saving the planet, right?
Mhm.
Both as a metaphor and also very literally, like how do you look out for your world, kind of a thing. The character sub theme is dealing with trauma.
Yeah.
And those themes are still present in Remake and Rebirth. Rebirth literally has the fucking Cetra trauma chambers.
Oh, I was gonna mention that, and it's just like, yeah, no, and no one's having a fucking good day, and you can blame everything on Shinra. Literally every single one of them.
I'm still not exactly sure what they meant by let your anger rebirth you per se, but it was definitely a moment where like every character got to name check like what their inciting incident was. Red's captured by Shinra. Tifa's dad dies after Nibelheim burns down. Barrett is Coral Village being burned to the ground and losing his wife. I got a lot to say about Yuffie. We'll probably get into it later when we talk about specific characters. I find it very interesting that Yuffie's character-defining trauma is still Scarlet's funhouse basement and Sonon's death. I don't think that people like draw in the Black Cloak thing. By the time we draw a one-to-one connection, we're still way too late in the game to stop, which is what Lucky was saying. Like, by the time you realize straight up that apparently you can magically transform into a Black Cloak man, still not sure what happened with Roche there.
My friend.
That we're too late in the game to stop, because, like, Shinra's after the Black Materia, we're after the Black Materia, Sephiroth's after the Black Materia. If we tell Yuffie we're not going after the Black Materia, she's gonna fucking ditch us.
I do not want Yuffie to have the Black Materia. Listen, I have a very short I have a short list of people who use the Black Materia. 1, Sephiroth. 2, Shinra. 3, Yuffie.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. We'll get into it more later, I think. But I kind of don't like Yuffie in this game. I thought that like you could go back and check the footage. Lucky, you were. A little harsh on her in the intergrade. I was a little more genteel because she's like, obviously she's inexperienced and young and like going through a lot of stuff. But like she still has kind of her headspace, right? She's still fired up about Shinra, and obviously there's a big traumatic moment. For that being her trauma catalyst, like she's like really. Relax. I mean, I do think it would have been better if they explicitly asked Cloud to like talk about his weird thoughts. Cloud wouldn't have actually talked about them. I do think maybe a nod earlier to like their concern levels would have been a thing. But yeah, it's an odd one.
Again, Jonathan, you're gonna keep saying these thoughts. I'm gonna keep refuting them. So either accept that and move on.
No, and also no, I'm not disappointed that Aerith covered for Cloud, because that is how the original goes, and also makes sense for that point in the story. At that stage, when Aerith has her little dream conversation with Cloud, she knows Cloud is being influenced by Sephiroth. She's seen it herself, and also she's using her divine powers to sort it out. And she knows she's going off on her own, probably to die, to invoke Holy, which isn't name dropped yet. And so like she's still trying to support Cloud in that moment and cover for him.
Trying to help find the real him.
Yeah, like ratting out Cloud to the others that like Sephiroth like was able to control him would not have helped Cloud. Also pug stamp. So yeah, like that's perfectly in sense for character. Like sometimes people, I'm not necessarily saying that this person in our chat saying that, but sometimes people think of Aerith as like, like Jesus Christ vampire hunter kind of a thing. Like she's too good for this sinful earth. No, Aerith is kind of a shitter. Like she's a little gremlin. There are a couple times where her sassiness gets the better of her, and she says some stuff maybe she shouldn't have. Right?
Yeah.
And so like she's making decisions that are there to help Cloud and protect the others, not necessarily the objective best way to do stuff. And I'd like to continue more on this in a second, but I need to step away. We've been here for like 40 minutes.
Have we been 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Jesus, we have.
So I will be right back. I don't want to dampen the conversation, but we've been here for a little bit. I've been drinking water. I need to step away.
But going on to the point that Omega was making, I think it's a very human thing for people to not always make the proper and right decision. Like, this person in our chat is talking about people need to talk more, but honestly, people in real life generally don't talk about their feelings. Even when they definitely need to, and even when they do try to talk, they don't always say the right thing. And usually it's that fear of not saying the right thing that keeps people from talking in the first place. And, you know, you kind of see that a lot with Aerith, who just kind of, you know, fires from the hip and doesn't necessarily always have, no, always don't have the best intent. It's, like, actually, this happened with Zack and Biggs here earlier, where Zack was trying to, you know, uplift, Biggs' spirits here, and Biggs goes like, that means I need to go blow up more reactors, right? And Zack was like, wait, no, that's not what I meant. Not again! Yeah, Zack.
This is my life. I make the rules. See you never.
Zack is such a dork. I love him.
Later. Come on, let's go.
Hey, why'd you pass on us?
No, actually, Zack went to go get Hojo, but, he couldn't actually, get access. He got attacked by a Shinra shoulder, so then he went to go find, Biggs. Biggs didn't actually blow up the reactor because there's no Mako. It's all gone. This is why people are saying the world is ending.
Okay, I'm back.
I'll tell you when we get to our spot.
I see chat is asking the reals questions.
I've been trying to talk on my own, share my own thoughts, trying to build off what you were saying earlier.
It's
Yeah.
one of my most
Sorry about
favorite
that, chat.
places.
I don't know why my stomach's a little upset today.
Can I make it any more obvious?
But yeah, so like I said, I mean, we got a little away from it because there's some chat feedback. But I was talking earlier about the temple. Like, you have this moment where Cloud goes on his little trip through the quantum foam, and Sephiroth basically straight up is like, "Yo, dog, there's multiple timelines." I don't know. Well, strictly speaking, I'm pretty sure and Aerith did suck and Cloud up into this moment we're having right now, plot reasons. But I don't know if she can actually traverse time and space.
I don't think she's traversing time and space. I think Aerith, like, before the fracturing, just had, you know, the planet's knowledge, which, you know, may have had, you know, answers.
She had access to the wisdom of the planet, which would include, you know, multiple worlds, past, present, and future. This is a great moment, by the way, where Zack's like, "You want a piece of me, Sephiroth?" And he's like, "Nah, not you, fam." And just yeets him into a different time space. But yeah, so Cloud gets on this whole trip, and we basically explain it to the player, and makes it clear that, like, there are timelines that are supposed to go some way, things that are supposed to go out there, And technically, we can change the future, as it were, but some of the results might still be the same. Like, Sephiroth's plan is now not just to, obliterate the planet with meteor and suck up all the life stream goo and become the god of everybody's dead souls. Now he's aiming for that on a multiversal scale.
Yeah.
He's going to also do this simultaneously and collapse all timelines so that he is the god of the planet in every universe, every timeline, and is, it basically, he's going up a scale.
Yeah. A reunion of worlds.
Yes.
I told you it was obvious.
Well,
But yeah,
you'll have to give me a
we have a lot of stuff going on.
Oh? Next time?
Yeah. Next time.
Yeah, is it his spite? He does talk about spite and sorrow, but Sephiroth himself is still very...
Where you and
I don't know. I think he's plugged it into that Genova brain, honestly.
Yeah, he's just... He doesn't really have a lot of emotion, and I think this is part of like how he razzes on Cloud. This was in the original, but Sephiroth in this game really steps up the "you're hollow, you're a puppet, you don't have emotions, you're fake, Cloud," just gaslighting him up. And I think part of that is projection, because Sephiroth himself, since the incident, like when he starts that process, he's like super freaked out and discombobulated, and even has a little bit of anger towards humans, but eventually mellows out to just being very emotionless.
Well, I think that's what the whole incident was about. Like, Sephiroth, like, always kind of felt apart from other people, and then he finds proof that he was, different from other people, and so, he takes on that whole kind of elitist angle on thing, and...
Also, this is I think Aerith just said a line that's very important. She's like, whatever happens, don't blame yourself.
Thank you.
Like, Aerith realizes what's
Sorry.
out there. No, I mean, that's actually talking about like in Dissidia. That's a recurring element. It's hard to tell because the script is so spread out in the original 7, but Sephiroth uses that terminology for Cloud several times in a lot of the scenes we see. Like, we talked about the Cetra trauma chambers, right?
Yeah.
Cloud initially doesn't get picked. I don't know if it's because the temple consents that, like...
About me, though.
It's not like Sephiroth is piloting Cloud at that point, but, like, Sephiroth's backseat driving Cloud hard in the Temple of the Ancients. He is absolutely sitting in the backseat with a hand on the shoulder, and it's like, Cloud, take a left here.
This was such a
You
good
missed your turn, Cloud. Sorry, I know. I'm rizzing us up with jokes while we're having like an emotional catharsis, because this is all remake stuff, right? Like
Right.
this is adding context to a sequence that happens anyway, and we're about to see. Because this Aerith calls it a dream, and we're gonna droop out to the other dream sequence. This is an imagery that starts happening in Rebirth. White whispers versus black whispers.
Yeah, they're not the gray whispers anymore. They've been split into two almost.
Yes. The whispers are no longer a metaphor for like the fandom, the original narrative. Yep, here it is. This is the scene I've been talking about, where Sephiroth's gonna explain the plot to you guys. Yes, the black ones are aligned with Sephiroth. The white ones seem to be aligned with Aerith, the planet, something.
I want to say the planet because the white and black ones were fighting when Tifa had her fucking spirit journey.
Yeah, in the live stream. But definitely starting from about now, you're gonna see that some of the white whispers definitely seem to be like covering for Aerith. But basically, it seems like at the end of Remake, we did defeat Fate. We have passed the boundary and unburdened the universe. and now basically Rebirth and our third game
It's
which
gonna be called Reunion.
has to be called Reunion. I think the only other thing is I think Axe did suggest this where they do like Meteor and like reverse text, but it's gotta be Reunion at this point. It's like the whispers are no longer a metaphor about the plot. They are an extension of Aerith v Sephiroth, which is a meta context to the compilation. There are several later works or several expanded works which do like straight up pit Sephiroth and Aerith against each other, where they're like not just are they physically opposed, but they are like metaphysically opposed.
So I think this scene's important because I think Sephiroth did just join two worlds together with that whole light becoming one, and now like they're entering that world.
Yes, I think he because we just saw it earlier, right? Zack was in multiple timelines. He had some forks there. But ultimately neither of those worlds comes to pass per se. Because like both of those timelines would have ended with Zack, facing the bullets again, and something else happens that you'll see in a second.
Reunion. I already cannot wait for the third game. You guys are assholes.
Yeah, because the third game is gonna be wild, y'all. Like, if there's something like vaguely unsettling or a little downer about this ending, that makes sense. Where this hits in the plot, we do some stuff that maybe changes some of those vibes, but it's still like this is one of like the most depressing segments of FF7. Like this is the Empire Strikes Back, right? This is the downturn.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're going to have to get several hours. I would guess probably 30 or 40 hours into the next game before we can start the rebuilding process. Which is crazy to think about. But this means the next game is going to open with fucking North Crater. Like, we're going to go to Icicle Village, and that's going to be like our calm, right?
Yeah.
And then we're going to North Crater. That's fucking crazy. We're going to start the game with that.
Yeah, I guess they are gonna have to start in Icicle Village. That'll be like the calm of this game, and then immediately into North Crater, where we're gonna get shit's gonna get fucked, and then I guess it's gonna start the rebuilding process from there.
Yes, because like, also hey, now we're in a sequence in the normal game canon. This is a dream that happens in the game after Temple of the Ancients. I do appreciate that. I'm pretty sure in the original game you get dunked back in Gold Saucer again.
Well, I do like what they do here because, like in the original, you actually did have to travel, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
we're kind of shortcutting that, as you'll see here. But
yeah,
first,
we're skipping Bone Village basically.
It's a little bit of a shame, but also it kind of makes sense. Bone Village, its big thing was the archaeology. Was that where the archaeology mini game was?
Yes, that's where you set bombs and dig up the key item, the Lunar Harp.
Yeah.
This case, we don't need the Lunar Harp because Aerith just comes with us.
By the way, I keep hearing this one. I keep hearing fucking Kingdom Hearts music in here. Just with some of the horns and stuff.
Yeah, there's a little vibes to that somewhere. Again, the music in this game is a banger, and you're about to hear some of the best of it. I will say we're coming up with the Forgotten Capital. I am a little sad that because Forgotten Capital is the proper end of this game, its full like end of the game climax. It does not quite recapture the original game's feeling of just like existential dread of just wandering this empty city with the haunting music.
No, it is very abbreviated.
But that's because it's the climax of the game, and it does feel like a climax. It feels like a build. And there's still some of that existential dread when you cross that boundary and you see the shot, the camera, and you're just like, oh boy, oh no. And they do some fun stuff that we will see soon, or too long here. But this is basically, including these shots where Aerith goes behind trees and stuff, this is basically how it happens in the original FF7. Aerith is trying to find the real Cloud. She needs to go off on her own. And she's telling him to, like, be cool, man.
etc.
But yeah, so we're straight up dealing with multiverses, and this is why I feel like we can still have Aerith as a playable character. I would expect in a slot similar to Zack. Like, we may be able to see some shots of her in other spaces.
Well, I think there's actually like a bit more to it than that, because honestly, in the last few chapters, what was chapter 12 called? Well, it's where you go back to Gold Saucer and you have like a lot of the big Gold Saucer moments. You're having the Keystone. It's where you actually...
The Golden Key, I think it was called?
Something like that, yeah. But it's where you get to participate in the play, and Aerith sings her song. And something that they keep remarking, both in the play and in the song, is no promises to keep at Journey's End. Which
spoilers, that's the ending shot of this game. Is like, for Remake it was the unknown journey continues. For Rebirth it says no promises to keep in the final chapter.
Yeah, because a thing that like Cloud as what was it, Alfred? I can't remember his damn name. Says like is like, we do not need to make a promise because I know I will find you there at Journey's End. And you know, Aerith sings, you know, things to that same thing, like no promises to keep, you know, just take my hand.
Yes.
And all that stuff. So like we're getting there, and you'll see what happens, but some people have been up in a tizzy about this online.
So as I usually do, immediately after finishing this game, I went to TV Tropes to check how people are feeling about the Vibes. The Vibes. Yes, this has been labeled via the Tropes as that this game ends with what TV Tropes calls a Gynax ending, which invokes a lot of classic Gynax, including Evangelion, where it's like, it's very esoteric and it's kind of bittersweet. It's not as outright sad and tragic as this section of the original 7 was, but it's only that way because it's more confusing. This is a great sequence, by the way, like I said, where Cloud is just basically full Mako gooped out and just non-responsive, and the crew just carries him through the Northwood.
Yeah.
Also, we mentioned this earlier, but we didn't show it on screen. But they did move Temple of the Ancients. They moved it from a island off the southern continent to up north.
Yeah.
This, I think, just logically makes more sense because North Crater's up here and the Forgotten Capital is up here, so it makes sense that the Cetras... I love this line from Sung, by the way. It's not a temple, it's a fortress. Like, you know, the fact that they had their last place up north near where their capital was.
Where are you? Aerith! Hey, Aerith!
Well, Cloud won't be an auto-include character. Spoilers, but there's sections of the original Final Fantasy VII where Cloud is not the party leader. He is indisposed for various reasons, a couple of ways. I would assume that our third game, we'll call it Reunion just so we can stop saying the third game, but our Reunion will include those segments. Now, those are going to be very interesting because one of those includes Tifa as the party leader. And the guy who takes over after that is Sid. I don't know if we're going to do that same way, but I suspect we will.
That's where she's headed. I'm sure of it.
Problem is,
Also, hey, if you haven't heard it already, you get to hear some Nanaki voice.
Yeah, no. I almost had a spit take in Cosmo Canyon.
Aerith said she's the
Replaying the game, I did find out that's who Aerith was talking to in those few times. He was just using his normal voice. Also, when he reveals the swimsuit, he goes, "Huh?" in his normal voice. But I didn't catch that my first time, so then when he fucking breaks character in Cosmo Canyon, I almost lost my shit.
Yeah, I caught it that time in Junon. I was like, is that Red? Is that going to be his Nanaki voice? It's still such a stark switch.
Sometimes you just know.
Yeah, Cloud's not good at this.
So,
No.
Cloud, I heard something from Aerith. She said Sephiroth kicked the ever-living crap out of you back in the Temple of the Ancients.
You heard
Not entirely untrue.
down like that.
Kicked his mana mentally.
Then how exactly did he get the materia from you?
Yes, Yuffie, this is what I need. Accusations.
Played a badass, you know.
All right, fine. You win. You beat the shit out of me and took the material.
Yeah, okay. I want to talk about Yuffie a little bit.
Go for it.
Kinda mine too. I should have been
So, I mentioned this earlier. I kind of don't like Yuffie in this game. Which is fair, because I've mentioned this before. Yuffie in the original FF7 is an annoying little shit. Like, it's not as bad in this game in Rebirth, but, like, Yuffie is a
Got sent to another world.
annoying little brat who, like, most of her characterization in the original script is just, yeah, you're old. Man, these guys suck. Give me your materia. Man, Shinra. And that's not inaccurate to how she is in this game, but I felt like she ended so strong in Intergrade of, like, okay, cool. She's got, like, a catharsis moment and stuff. But I spent a lot of this game waiting for Yuffie character arc to drop, and it didn't
Well,
quite.
They might be saving that for the third game, honestly.
Yes, I hope you are correct in that we do Wutai relatively early in the third game, because, like, I feel like Yuffie needs that catharsis factor, because, like you said, really, the moment we introduced the Black Materia, which is a revamp, we talked a little about Gongaga, where we get some extra revelation, we get some extra context, we get to see the weapons much clearer, and they're kind of on our side, or at least on Tifa's side. They are against Sephiroth, and even Sephiroth can't one-shot a weapon.
All right.
No, you fight Scarlet in Intergrade in a giant mech. And she's not the final boss. Which is wild to think about. But, no, that's the thing about Yuffie. Yuffie seems so out of touch with the rest of the group that it kind of throws me off. Now, I will say, I do like this Yuffie better than I like Intergrade Yuffie, because she has done a little bit of growing up. She just haven't had done enough in mine. Like, she has her trauma, she's carrying her thing, you basically, you know, she's literally tries to assassinate fucking, President Rufus.
And I do want to say that, like, when she has her trauma flashback, which is just hearing Sonon's conversations every time he tried to offer her life advice, like, she's not perfect about it, because people don't change overnight, but,
Yeah.
like, she does in this game try to follow some of the advice he had. Like, she does not necessarily try to pick a fight with every Shinra guy, right? Like,
No, and she's not constantly belittling other people.
Vinny!
Yeah! Like,
He's
no.
in this game so little, but I fucking love Vincent's great.
Like, Yuffie is a better person. Like, I like her more than I like an Intergrade, but no, she's still an annoying little shit. The only
And
reason,
I think
the only person I don't like more than fucking Yuffie is Kyrie. God, I hate that girl.
yes, Kyrie sucks, but at least the game is like everybody thinks this girl sucks.
Elena, I thought kind of sucked, but then Elena became the butt of so many jokes. I'm all like, you've been suffering, girl. You are forgiven.
Yeah, Elena gets as good as she gives, which is appropriate for the
Yeah.
Turks. Like, there's a reason why those guys end up being comic relief in Advent Children. Like, but yeah, also, this is, like I said, this is the interesting thing. We don't use Listen to the Cry of the Planet. We use the song they used in Advent Children to kind of, like, talk about, the terrible fight and burdens the crew had. It thematically works, but like I said, it's not quite the same vibe as just wandering this empty fucking city.
Yeah. So, like,
They belong to Sephiroth.
But yeah, Yuffie is positioned in this game in a very odd space where she's kind of like the team, like, atheist. Like, they straight up talk about, like, the life stream and, like, the planet and stuff, and Yuffie's just like,
meh.
I don't know about that. And I'm like, You guys have a Yuffie. You're carrying a materia that summons your people's god right now. I put it in your pocket. Okay?
Yeah, but well, that's the thing.
I know.
Yuffie doesn't consider materia like that. Yuffie for Yuffie, materia is just power. That's why she
Yes.
wants it. She just wants to be so strong, to have like the strong materia, so she can go kick Shinra's ass and make Yutai, conquer the world. Because I'm pretty sure that's what she would do.
Yuffie is powerless, and she feels her country is powerless. She desires power, and I think she's gonna have a lot to learn about that. But yeah,
No, I am 100% certain. Yuffie will get some characterization and some catharsis in Wutai. I'm not, because they're already setting up some Wutai stuff. The SRC, the Shin Resistance Group based out of Wutai, they're making moves. And preemptive moves at that. They've already.
And I gotta put a pin in this for later. But we do some really interesting things with Rufus in this game that I really like.
Oh yeah, he's kind of a foil to Cloud, almost. I want to say.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They straight up made him a foil to Cloud, including a moment where I think he's getting the big J messages. He's getting the secret sign on the DL, and it's you can see him do the same thing basically that Cloud does, where Cloud gets obsessed with the black materia. Rufus gets obsessed with the Promised Land, kind of out of nowhere. But yeah, like I said, we instead of wandering the city, we just go big boop set piece.
Yep.
But yeah, so Yuffie finds out about the black materia, and she's like, it's very funny, by the way, that Wutai is like an XP for Japan, but Yuffie's like, nuclear weapons? Cool! But she is, and I do, talking about how, and I think that they can't do it because this would break some of the pacing of the original, but that's another thing where I suspect it's just because Barrett doesn't want to deal with it at the time, but I feel like Barrett and Tifa and need to sit down with Yuffie and be like, hey kid, do you understand what Oblivion is? This black materia, probably not a good thing. I don't know if you'd want to use it, because there's no guarantee it wouldn't get you too. Yuffie would probably still want it, but
no, I'm
I
pretty sure
do kind of feel bad that nobody really tries to double check her desire for this. Barrett just seems committed to well, she's just a dumb kid. I'll just stop her if she tries to take it.
Well, yeah, he does do that a few times, where he's just he is the first person to call out Yuffie on her shit.
Yeah, Barrett is great in this game. No notes. Barrett tries to keep everybody kind of on the even keel. Oh, you whiffed your targeting a little. Yeah, it happens. Okay, you got him. Give him the dive kick. By the way, you're the one who caught me onto Synergy plus Petrify Poison. It's great. I love it.
It is the
I
best.
also love the fucking sound design of Quake. That boom as the rock jumps. It's sick. This game really is phenomenal. There's still a couple of needlings, but we got a lot of fun stuff. But yeah, Yuffie is, I don't want to say Yuffie's a terrorist at heart. Yuffie comes from an oppressed people. And that's another thing that this game does a much better job of examining, is picking apart all the ways in which people are oppressed by Shinra, down to even Shinra's employees are still oppressed. They're still part of this machine, and it sucks because I think we've gotten over our idea that every member of Shinra is bad.
I don't know if Yuffie's gotten over that idea yet.
No, Yuffie hasn't yet. She's still working on that, I think.
Barrett!
She starts to get there a little in the temple when Shinra soldiers are getting obliterated en masse.
Yeah, Barrett has reached that point. He still's I gotta take down fucking Shinra. But he isn't... God damn it, Barrett.
Thank you, Barrett.
But Barrett is in this mind space of I gotta save the planet. He's no longer in because Barrett beforehand, I feel, was in a headspace of he's using the excuse of I need to save the planet as a reason to stick it to Shinra. But I feel in this game, no, he actually believes he's got to save the planet, so he's got to give it to Shinra, because Barrett's whole thing is his life was ruined because of Shinra. Also, I feel like I don't know if we talked about this, but the fucking Shinra standard operating procedure is fucking weird. And like in like a 3-year period, there was like 3 incidents reactors, and the way that Shinra deals with each single one of them is completely different. Vinny!
God, he's in it so little, but I fucking love Vincent in this game. He's great. I love
how he's always put in like little key moments though. Just
yeah.
He's there to deliver some exposition, to narc on the fucking the Turks, to shoot a camera out, or to just be cool. And I'm like, yes, no, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need you for, Vinny.
Yeah, no, Vincent's great. I was a little, I'm always a little worried because he is a fan favorite character, and like, where's he gonna stand? But no, he's great in this game. They use him correctly. Anyway, guys, hey, guess what? We're at the part. Anybody who's played the original FF7 should recognize some of these rooms, and the Veebs.
The Veebs.
But yeah, no. Barrett does have a really good he has several moments where he kind of like recontextualizes these things and is like, yeah, it's bad. But yes, there's a little inconsistency with Shinra writing. I feel like there were some moments where we could have explained stuff because like we said with the timelines fragmenting and coming together, I feel like the writers of the remake project are committed to the idea that like, especially when it comes to backstory stuff, there's only so much we can change, right? Like
right.
Barrett's village has to be wiped out by Scarlet because that's how it makes sense. The final bench.
Shout out to the Ancient Cetra people and their fucking bench and vending machine technology. Just saying.
Yes. Do you need to vend? Do you need to adjust your folios? Do you need to have a sit? We got you, fam. Thanks, guys. But yeah, so Nibelheim gets burned down by Sephiroth and it's a huge cover-up. That at least is like, okay, the village got destroyed not through Shinra's direct action. It makes sense that they would cover it up because they don't want to talk about how Sephiroth went off the deep end.
Mm-hmm.
And in a slight twist, they changed it so that now Nibelheim has been turned into a company resort where they funnel all of the Black Cloaks, who officially are people suffering from Mako poisoning and or cellular degeneration as soldiers.
I'm on normal, so I can use items, so I'm going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, you are. I can't imagine doing this next sequence on hard without items.
Oh, God. Listen, there's a reason why everyone has fucking chakra, and I'm trying to get as much prayer as I can. There's a prayer necklace, I'm like, I need that.
Yeah. Spoilers, but also, dear game designers, I understand that it's an iconic attack. Can Sephiroth please stop using Heartless Angel? It's such an annoying fucking gut check in a game like this. Like, it to just be set to 1 HP. And it sucks. Like I said, I got cooked by the final boss a couple of times. And some of it was due to Heartless Angeling. And I didn't have my ATB pre-prepped.
Do I want to have... No, I can use items here.
But yeah, so the coral gets blown up. Gongaga reactor breaks down because it was old and ill-maintained, and there's a huge disaster, and Shinra builds a memorial. Now, I do wonder... It seems like they're implying, because of what Kate Sith says and that Cisne is there, that Shinra is different with Gongaga because presumably Reed was involved.
Well,
and I think Cisne may have already retired to Gongaga.
I think they mentioned this in the very first chapter, but Nibelheim was under the jurisdiction of R&D, while reactors are generally under generally under urban planning. I'm pretty sure the only reason why Coral Village got fucked up is because, for some odd reason, Scarlet decided to head that project. For whatever reason.
Yeah, we're still not sure, because she's weapons development. Like, that's not inconsistent.
And I think that's the only reason they can explain why they would decide to burn it down. Is that, no, Scarlet was like, no, this is my plan. And unfortunately, Scarlet is weapon sexual.
Yes. And they did perfectly recommunicate that scene where she grabs a fucking assault rifle from a Shinra trooper and shoots at Barrett and Dine while doing her oh-ho-ho laugh.
Yeah.
Like, that worked perfectly. Also, by the way, that fight with Scarlet in Gongaga Reactor was a bitch.
I hated it.
because she flies, and also that final phase where her fucking weapons become like reduce all types of damage, and sometimes will just fly around on their own. Not great. Sucked a little bit. A lot of dodging. Also, sorry, I was thinking about this earlier, talking about Scarlet. Scarlet is not a final boss in the game. She and Heidegger form a duo boss in the Proud Clawed, a giant robot, in the Return to Midgar section in the third disc. That is still before the final dungeon, but presumably that climax will still be part of the third game and will be a moment to kind of like put a coda on Barrett and Yuffie's development. Yeah. Shit, actually, that would be really good if they straight up split the party. Like some of your party members, probably Yuffie and Barrett at least, stay to handle Heidegger and Scarlet, whereas Vincent and Red go with somebody, probably Cloud, up to the Sister Ray to stop Hojo.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, so it'd be like, well, actually, it depends on what Sid and Tifa would be doing. But yeah, no, definitely Barrett and Yuffie to go fight those two.
Yeah,
and Hojo.
Comment. But yeah, like there's room there. But yeah, so there's some weirdness going on here. And Shinra, they still communicate this well throughout the game with Shinra, like with Rufus. Rufus starts the game like, all right, I'm gonna do we're gonna focus our efforts somewhere else. We're gonna do different things, and then slowly, subtly slips into, how about that promised Lando? What's up with that? I'm gonna best my old man.
Saying that, I wonder if fucking the old president was under some sort of influence.
He could have been. I would also believe, though, that President Shinra was just that much of a shitter.
Like, again, I think I talked about this. Shinra in this game is comically evil. Like, you have a bunch of random execs who, only one probably actually, like, no, actually, I'll say that. I give Scarlet the benefit of the doubt. She does her job. It's just the problem that her job is fucking,
Scarlet, here's the thing. If you want to chart, like, does everybody enjoy their jobs? I would say that Palmer, only because his department basically does nothing. Palmer doesn't enjoy his actual job. Reeve may or may not enjoy his job. He doesn't ever seem like he's having fun.
Listen, I think Reeve enjoys his job. I just think he doesn't enjoy his job butting up with other fucking departments, which happens fucking constantly.
Heidegger, Scarlet, and Hojo are having the time of their lives.
And I think
it's
that's
just
a bad sign.
Yes. Scarlet enjoying her job means that she's effective at her job. We had this discussion last night. I don't know that Hojo is actually essential personnel. I said earlier, Rufus should have just thrown him out the helicopter. We don't know if he's actually, like, important. I assume that he's the only one who can make the soldier program work, and that was pretty important for them defeating Wu-Tai, so I can see why they keep him around. But generally, a lot of his personal pet projects seem pretty useless. They don't actually seem to go anywhere, other than create more weird tentacle monsters that escape and we have to kill anyway.
Yeah, like I said, they never deploy fucking Hojo creations to the battlefield. They're always either Hojo brings them himself because he's like, I want to test this, or it breaks out somewhere.
I think the only example is Rufus's dog, Darkstar, which is a Shinra guard dog.
There were dogs in the first game, like in the first couple chapters, like that.
Yeah, the guard dogs also worked with the regular soldiers in the reactors, but we don't see much of them in this game. Sorry, I'm getting quiet because this is a very iconic sequence that has a lot, even now has some added stuff.
No, I do like how they did this. In the original game, Cloud gets this point and he's suddenly hit by the Sephiroth juice.
Yeah.
And, you have this entire scene where you kind of do this again. But here, it's still the Sephiroth juice. There's just a better...
Explicitly, there's some whisper goo.
Yeah.
And you can see that Cloud clearly does not want this. He is not taken over right now. He is being physically moved. Also, I believe in this moment, your party members who are with you call out to Cloud, and that's what snaps him out of it. I think that would be inconsistent with how this has been portrayed previously, so they just have Cloud kind of just like, yep. That. It's the money shot.
It is the money shot. I love this though. Ah. Note the multicolor prismatic rays.
Yes, this effect is used whenever we do the worldsening.
That shot kind of mirrors that one in the first game where Sephiroth knocks Cloud Swords away. Note we had that static effect.
Yeah.
And they play the music just like the original.
Perfectly timed to the piano hits. I was very, like, physically and emotionally exhausted at this point, so I didn't... Also, this part's very confusing with other stuff, so I wasn't, like, super sad, but I'm like, man, they still got the hits, though.
Nah, I was Lucky was having some sobbing right here. So, you're confused, like, what just the fuck happened?
Yeah, she looks fine.
She looked fine? Now she's not fine. The fuck? Solid Sephiroth laugh, by the way.
And notice this filter. At this point in the original game, Cloud gives a very impassioned speech to Sephiroth. And it's clear that in some world he is still speaking. But we, the audience, do not hear him.
It's okay.
And see, now you see it. Thank you, Barrett. See, we have the weird filter again. I do love Sephiroth's VA in this. Like, normally...
Sephiroth's doing work.
Like, I think most of the people know me. I'm a big stand of usually playing in the Japanese and whatnot, but no, this English cache is just fucking good. It's
yeah,
so
Cloud's VA is killing it. Like, you think he's just doing the cool boy, but like when Cloud gets a little unhinged, he's got the hits too. Like, he's got the breadth. Same with Aerith. Like, she does a lot to like do these gentle moments, but also, you know, like we said, Aerith's gremlin energy. White Whispers.
You know, probably protecting her because we about to do a thing, y'all.
However, you'll never see the truth with such clouded eyes.
Shut up!
After all, you're just a puppet.
Then the music fades.
Said the iconic line. And then we start the beats. Also, hey, by the way, I just want to say, I fucking called it.
What?
I was like, when they do this fight, they're gonna do a fucking, like, messed up boss battle rendition of Aerith's theme.
And they... Well, it's not messed up. It's still...
Well, no, it's sad. Like, they go... to the nines with Genova Life Clinger. Also, hey, by the way, notice everybody full limit bars except Cloud.
Yeah. They mad.
Everybody else is pissed. So, we've mentioned before, the soundtrack for this game, fucking phenomenal. Both Genova iterations that are in this game are really good. I was a little surprised that, like, I feel like there wasn't a song that made me, like, fucking freak out and headbang as much as Airbuster. That's okay. I got to Battle of the Big Bridge. The Battle in the Big Bridge rendition in this game is great. Perfect. No notes. But also, the phases of the Genova Life Clinger. Also, by the way, great names. We have Genova Dreamweaver, Genova Emergence, and Genova Life Clinger.
I'm not using their limit breaks because this is a multi-phase battle, and
yeah.
There are moments I want to use this later.
Yeah, we gotta save some stuff. But yeah, the soundtrack here used is a pretty faithful recreation of what happens, which is just you get into a full ass Genova boss battle while just Aerith's theme blares. It's wild. But yeah, also there are future phases to this, like I said, that are huge bangers. But also just in general, the music's really great. Like the multiple themes they use in Temple of the Ancients, including eventually they start to use notes of Listen to the Cries of the Planet, including the kind of like action remix from the end of the last game. It's great. But yeah, so plot-wise, something very important just happened, which is Sephiroth kills Aerith, or does he? Cloud summons up the juice to actually do the thing we always wanted him to do and block the blow. But because it is preordained, Aerith still falls down? Question mark?
Well, I have.
I mean, yeah.
Everyone has their own theories. I personally think that Cloud is currently multi-world drifting right now.
Yes, I think that's the best explanation for it, and also
I love that line. I've done it before. I can do it again. As you're 1v1 in Genova right now.
Yes, as your party member for the first phase, your party members get kicked out, and Cloud has to solo this part of the phase. And he's just like he's got unique combat barks at several points for this.
Oh, the music stops? Because now we're getting into the real boss battle. Oh, also no, Axe. It's not. I don't think it's ever really fully explained, but no, these Genovas that we've been fighting, those are Sephiroth. The Sephiroths we've been seeing, those are Genova.
So, it's a little more clear in the remake, but you can see that while it appears like Sephiroth to people who are plugged in, it is a black robe. I won't actually say what the black robes are just yet, because we won't. That hasn't been explicitly explained in this game yet. Yeah. But it is a black robe that breaks into Shinra HQ and retrieves Genova's body and flies off with it. When you defeat Genova Emergence earlier on the Shinra 8 boat, you can see a limb left behind. Mm-hmm. So these are bits of Genova that break off the main body. Because according to Cloud, he killed Sephiroth in Nibelheim. Now, we haven't actually shown that on screen to get into the steez, but allegedly, the original Sephiroth is dead, but he keeps showing up to taunt us. And explicitly earlier in Temple of the Ancients, we didn't show it, but Sung gets stabbed by Sephiroth, and then Sung, what a baller, shoots that Sephiroth in the back, and he turns back into a black robe.
Yep.
So, yeah. Physically, you don't actually meet Sephiroth a lot in this game.
No, well, we'll see what's up at North Crater.
Yeah. And we'll get some hints in this game. There was a very early appearance by a guy. Because hey, guess what? This not only is this a multi-phase boss battle, also we're in the final boss sprint.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and they show it later in the game, Max. What I'm saying. In this, we haven't actually, like, got this. Because here's the thing. You can say that, like, oh, we covered this in Crisis Core and whatnot. We are explicitly dealing with, like, fragmenting and recollecting timelines. And we are, like, moving set pieces around. Like I said, they moved where the Temple of the Ancients is. There's no guarantee that just because it appeared that way in a previous compilation work, that is exactly how the remake trilogy is going to feature it. I think we've already experienced technically a continuity error in that, while they don't actually show it on her model, Tifa shows Cloud her scar. In the novels, Tifa is not supposed to have a scar because she got a skin graft. I think thematically saying that she has a scar, though, works a lot better. But yeah, anyway.
Fucking falling battle. Let's go.
Doing some advanced split-up shit. Genova's another fight that's very 14-esque to me. Like, she has fucking raid wides. She's got, you know, positionals. We can't say for sure. We are definitely moving in Crisis Core elements. Cisne's a pretty major character. Yeah, it's Red and Barrett, Nanaki. Wrath of the Land. I was a little dubious, by the way, when they introduced the limit rank increase and you can get to the 3rd level. I was like, when am I ever going to do that? I pulled off finishing touch twice in this. Yeah, and then the music gets real high level for this part. Getting gooped.
Yep, just a bit.
But yeah, so, like, Aerith, quote-unquote, dies. And, like, I want to say, ultimately, I think it makes sense because not only are we talking about recombining universes, but the way they've phrased it is that we're still doing all of the plot beats of 7. This means that even if Aerith lived, she would have to leave the plot, because she's not directly involved in a lot of things. I do think that they're still leaving room for her to be involved in some stuff later. But yes, I think explicitly Cloud broke time there because this was pointed out to me by TV Tropes, I do want to say. But notice that only Cloud crossed the barrier of whispers this time.
Yeah.
Only he defied fate. Everybody else stayed behind until the barrier went away naturally. So we're getting, like, multi-continuity transposition. And I am assuming when Cloud gets sent to the trauma dimension later, that will allow us to unpack and explain some of this shit. Yeah, get him. Do the big wombo combo.
That cannot taste good.
No, it's got to be gross. Fucking space bug. I love how Genova's treated, though. Like, this, even the Cetra Temple is like the calamity from the stars. Yeah! Kate's great in this, by the way. They did a great... Talking about character, like, rewriting, Sid and Kate Sith are done very well in this game to make them much more likable.
Oh, definitely. Like, I was a little concerned. Yeah, fuck you. The squad!
Join the party.
Bitch!
And then the guitar version. I'll talk about how at least one way I think they're going to use Aerith when we get to that segment in this final boss collage, if we do. I don't know how long it'll take Lucky to get through the whole thingus. But no, like, like I said, I think we're leaving open room for Aerith to come back in a gameplay sense, because like I said, we didn't show her all. Nobody's gotten their final weapon or final limit break yet. But that means that Aerith didn't get hers.
Also,
which
I want to
is kind of open-ended. Go ahead.
So I'll just say right here, we do not get the Cloud laying Aerith in the water scene either.
Yes, that was completely. That'll be skipped later. We just jump straight to what is probably supposed to be post that.
Yeah.
As far as the eye can see.
But this is a phenomenal sequence. Like Genova Life Clinger, great, no notes, perfect. And then this shit. Zack is stuck in purgatory.
Because this is something that I find hilarious. Is when Zack got into the world, he's been hearing stories about Cloud and how he's doing stuff, and like Zack's like, "Are you sure we're talking about the same Cloud?"
He even asks Marlene, "Hey, does Aerith like Cloud?" Which we didn't. And we didn't talk about it. But Aerith does straight up say that she has the fucking Suki conversation in the church.
Oh yeah.
She's like, "Cloud, I like you, but like can mean a lot of things."
No, sorry. I was like, Lucky might have screamed, "Let's fucking go!"
Yeah, when this happened, I couldn't stop to type it, but the thought in my head right here was, the boys are back in town! The all-white is used for that as well, yes. There are some live stream moments in Advent Children that uses kind of that. But right now we're at the edge of creation. Yeah, the fucking shots. This game is so cool, guys. It's confusing as hell, but it's so cool. And you got a menu pop.
Just in case. Let me double check it real quick here.
And then we're doing the money shot. The same way that the every Sephiroth fight ends.
I will say that is something I am slightly disappointed with this game is like, I guess it is all three games we're gonna just end with.
Unless we get really weird in the climax, yes. I mean, no matter what, you're gonna get your shirtless Sephiroth fight in the third game.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, Zack joined the party. This is another thing that I mentioned. Zack's great. They could have done a lot wrong with him, but I actually like how Zack is in this game, where he's like, Cloud's doing okay on his own. He's doing stuff. That's cool, man. Good for him. My boy needs a win. You know, is how Zack goes. But yeah, I mentioned earlier that I was like, I wasn't sure if they were gonna leave it just so. Oop. Oh, he's doing his command grab. But I was like, there's no way that like the intro is the only playable Sephiroth segment, and I'm technically correct. They don't go as far as I thought, where they might include him in the party for like going for New Game Plus chapters. But there are some hard mode Chadley simulations where you can add Sephiroth and Zack to your party.
This is just like great minds.
Zack's great. I know some people were a little disappointed in this VA's performance for because he also did him in Crisis Core Reunion.
I like it.
I feel like he definitely having a little more time to work on the character and not be like repeating lines that are already in people's memory. Me going gaga, like he's great.
Just as worlds unite, so too do they part.
Sephiroth fucking cheating,
Hacks.
splitting timelines when he decides.
Cloud, save her!
Left the party.
Boo.
Alone at last. Shall we?
I personally suspect that like Aerith's involvement will be like Zack here, or like another thing we'll talk about in a second after we get through this boss phase. Anyway, hey, it's Bizarro Sephiroth.
I keep thinking
As
same
he was-
Seymour Sephiroth. Like, fucking... This is some Yu Yevon fucking shit here.
I mean, technically Sephiroth did do it first, but yeah, with the updated art style, it is very much like that, right?
Don't care how big you get. I'm not backing down. I'm finishing this.
Gotta hit him in the fuck me light. But yeah, Sephiroth Reborn is a much better translation of Bizarro Sephiroth. I think they just couldn't figure out what the fuck.
Well, it's better than the, Got it.
Yeah.
Like I
Also,
said,
by the way, I want to say this whole sequence right here. I know he's not like the combat director. I feel like this is Nomura flexing his Kingdom Hearts vibes.
Yeah, no.
Like this whole final boss rush feels like the ending of a Kingdom Hearts game. But I suspect that there will be moments for Aerith cameos at certain points in our reunion game. Also, would not be surprised if there was a sequence where it is Zack and Aerith in a party.
Well, like I said, I think they both have some stuff to go through. Like, you get to see this, like, on Aerith's day, but she's talking about how she came to like Cloud. Because, you know, she saw someone in him, and, you know, in a kind of crazy way. But, you know, in traveling with him, you know, she has, you know, gotten to, you know, see Cloud. And she's still not sure of her feelings between, you know, Cloud and Zack. And Zack is just like, you know, talking to Marlene and stuff, and like knows that, you know, Aerith has a thing for Cloud, you know, who is his bestest best bro friend, you know. So it's like, because, you know, fucking, like, what does Zack say when, like, you know, he's like getting heated from time and space? He's like, save her!
Yeah.
You know, no, so it's like
Zack's focus is that, like, he has realized that Sephiroth is coming for Aerith, and he's like, nah, fam, not on my watch. While I'm still alive, I got shit to do.
So no, like, I definitely think in the third game there has to be some moment where Zack and Aerith have to talk it out.
Yeah.
What the result of that is, I don't know. Listen, people have been fighting over their one true pairing over Final Fantasy VII, and I am still of the humble opinion that it should just be both Cloud and it should be Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa. Just
Yeah, they try to do a lot to make Aerith and Tifa seem more like friends in this game.
oh no, they are besties.
But that also definitely gives you some occasional romantic undertones. I mentioned this, I think, before, but there's a moment in Nibelheim where Aerith goes up on the water tower and has a conversation with Cloud, you know, because you can usually have a conversation with your team members in every new city you go to. And she asks him about, like, hey, did you sit up here hoping for a Tifa wave? And Cloud is basically like, I don't know, probably. I kind of sucked as a kid. And Aerith is like, I definitely would have been up here waiting. And I'm just like, wow, Aerith, you're... She recontextualizes that with her next line, talking about how she never had friends as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But given Cloud and Tifa's relationship... especially given, so I got the full Tifa date at Gold Saucer.
Yep.
Given how that ends, hey, straight up, canonically for my run anyway, Cloud and Tifa have kissed.
Yeah.
Like they go all the way.
Maybe the whispers got him.
Like,
Hook him somewhere?
which doesn't even happen with Aerith. I think they like do an intertwined hands thing, which you can will be mirrored later. So, like,
I
it's
think-
very close, but
Well, also,
it's
I
a
think
different vibe.
It's a different vibe, but again, it's one of those things that Aerith is still trying to figure things out, and Cloud is still trying to figure things out.
Yeah. Cloud knows he likes Tifa, and Tifa kind of likes Cloud, but also they have so much baggage to work through, which will be solved later in the trauma dimension.
This one's for Aerith.
Fuck yeah, it is. Get him.
Again,
Also, it
we-
seems like they're going to make us fight Bahamut in every final boss fight, because he's so cool.
So we're gonna fight Bahamut Type Zero Whisper in fucking the third game, probably.
Yeah, probably. I think we'll keep the three-peat. there's room for some more giant dragon boss fights.
Yeah, I can't say no to a giant dragon boss fight.
And I will say there are some other notes. This spooked me, by the way. I was like, oh shit, he's just going straight to Giga Flare. It's weaker than it normally is. But yeah. That said, fucking Giga Flare. Look at this shit.
I love how they've turned the fucking jet engines into fucking beam cannons.
And then he sucks it up into the big one, which blows away the ground, just like in the original.
Henshin?
This means, by the way, that Bahamut Type 0 will be fucking over the top, because that's the one where he, like, flies in from the moon and nukes you from orbit. But yeah, and also there are some other contexts, like, if you do the date with Yuffie, Yuffie will give Cloud a kiss on the cheek, and talks about how Cloud reminds her of a soldier she used to have a crush on.
That was Zack, by the way.
Yeah, it's Zack, yeah. And that, like, starts implying that Yuffie is starting to develop a little crush on Cloud, which does fit the vibes. Like, Yuffie tries to be close to Cloud because Cloud is, like, in a lot of ways still a kid himself, even though Barrett does acknowledge that he's, 20-something.
Yeah. But, like, for Yuffie, though, like, this is not my own personal interpretation, but for Yuffie, it definitely seems like more of that childish infatuation, seeking, the older male, relationship, not just, like...
Yeah, it's because Yuffie's also kind of a tryhard, and so she, like, oh, shit, Cloud's a tryhard. Yeah, it's cool. He's cool, like me. I'm cool. But also she feels the need to, like, because she's a teenage girl, to, like, take the piss out of Cloud sometimes. But it's a good relationship, and I am very keen to see it come to the conclusion in later games. As to put a context on it, fuck it, we can spoil the original 7 in this. Actual Cloud, not like Cloud in his confused mental state. Cloud normally has motion sickness, just like Yuffie. So, like, that will definitely be a thing we kind of commiserate there. Anyway, love that. HPMP fully restored.
Livestream giving you some juice, because boy howdy, you might need it.
What in the hell is going on?
Zack,
Thank you,
no
Zack.
idea what's going on. He's just here, he knows he needs to fight Sephiroth. That's all he needs, baby. He's gonna wake up at Amnesia, he's gonna look on his arm, tattooed there, fight Sephiroth. He's gonna be like, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, fight Sephiroth! Oh, and we're gonna do this mirror.
This is something I do like, and when Cloud goes to Nibelheim, he does remember Zack. He just remembers him in the slap.
Yes.
He remembers him in the wrong area.
Yeah. And in his mind, Cloud goes, "Oh shit! Does that mean Zack was the guy who washed down river?"
Yeah.
And leaves it to Tifa jumps in front and is like, "Hey, whoa, let me explain that to Aerith because we're close."
I love this.
And Cloud just takes it because I think he realizes that he'd be bad at that. But yeah, no, this
No, it's gone. Where'd it go? Oh, it's because I pressured him, huh?
yeah, you pressured. But no, there's some great stuff here. I feel like this is a tech demo for how the game is, the whole trilogy is gonna end.
Together as one. Let's go.
Yeah, this rips. This is real Kingdom Hearts action right here. This rocks. But in the actual final game, you fight, the back-to-back boss sequence. You fight this Sephiroth, with this, like, everybody party separately, right? And you can switch to them because they're all on different rocks, and you can, like, take advantage of that. And then after you crack this Sephiroth, that's when you fight Safer Sephiroth. That's when the actual one-wing angel shit happens.
Oh shit, that's right. You gotta really use Yuffie for this.
Yeah, all of your party members do have, I think, elemental materia equipped, but Yuffie, it's a lot easier. Knights of the Round's going to be pretty crazy, I think.
Oh, you don't have it.
I wonder if they're going to tie... Are they going to tie Knights of the Round to Loveless? Hey, by the way, that's another thing we haven't mentioned yet, but they do the play sequence again, and they explicitly make it Loveless. Admittedly, the G version, which is very funny because, you know, Genesis was obsessed with Loveless in Crisis Core. But, by the way, the play, no notes. That's fucking great. That whole sequence is crazy. Sephiroth.
Wait, are we lightning or lightning right now?
Yeah, so wind. Yeah, get him. But yeah, that whole sequence is really good. But talks about, like, you know, the capital of machines, the Dragon King Varvados, who Barrett plays perfectly.
No, he plays it real good.
Yeah. I'll need to go back and do the funny stuff in that, because, like, in the original, you can do some very funny things, like kiss the Dragon King and shit. I didn't want to fuck up the date, because, like, Aerith's gonna sing her song, and I was out with Tifa.
It didn't fucking count.
No, I wasn't elemental enough. That is something I feel like this game plays with a little bit more, both on bosses and mooks, of, like, enemies being immune or dodging or putting up barriers more.
Nah, just need a regular ass player.
I have noticed that there's an icon change, for instance, when you get irremovable buffs and debuffs.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that they do note those, but it is kind of annoying. But yeah, I'm wondering, because we clocked this out. This game ends technically at Odin Summon.
Yeah.
I say technically because there is one extra summon in the game. It's great. Can't believe they brought back Excalibur. Oh,
I mean, they kind of had to. It's part of the jokes.
it's
oh,
so
no.
good.
Oh, wait, this is why.
Luckily, I think this is the single target Heartless Angel.
Nope.
Oh no, it is the AOE, but
Listen,
I
this
guess I
is
just
why you
got
have
it.
Itemizer and fucking
Yeah. No. Like I said, dear game developers, please stop. Please stop with Heartless Angel. It's it's such a gut check, and I don't like it. Anyway, get him with the Overfang. Fang over Fang.
I missed. Whatever. Now we got Catastrophe.
You can Octa Slash in this boss fight?
Yeah.
Well,
But
no,
Barrett was
you
not
can't.
having it.
But yeah, the climax of the third game is going to be, we're going to be in the bowels of North Crater. It's going to look a lot like this, but even freakier. And you're just going to have the whole party members in it. Including, like I said, I feel like they're going to bring back, like, Zack and Aerith for that shit. Plus, also, you're going to have Sid and Vincent, finally.
I'm pretty sure in the third game, we're going to have weird dream segments where, you know, Cloud goes to the other world and has to interact with, like, Zack and Aerith, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
There you are.
Well, Cloud is going to explicitly take another little life stream bath.
Yeah.
That's the jokes I make about the trauma dimension. Anyway, this is the thing I was alluding to earlier. This is a memento. This is a thing. Just Aerith power walking out of the time stream.
Thank you for that.
Let's end this together.
Because I joke that, like, I talk about how people treat Aerith kind of like Jesus Christ, and because she kind of is, but her personality is not like that.
Putting whispers in his sword and wing. And then we just do the classic.
He always gets me with that first attack, too. Hey, spoilers, I had to do this fight like 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, like I said, he cooked me a couple times. He got me once with Heartless Angel. And then the first time actually, it was technically I think the second time I had to reset, but I got him all the way down to the final phase, but I didn't have any ATB around. Yeah, this one's tough because the wing is needs magic damage.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. I think your regular damage will work because you got elemental, but
Oh.
if you've got ATB on Aerith, have her do Sorceress Storm. That'll do like 2/3. Same with when he does Masamune later. But yeah, this fight is a lot about careful ATB management. You're
Like I
always
said,
going to make sure you have a couple in the can for later. Good block.
Egon, your part is played.
Yeah, Alter's saying he died a couple times because of no ATB.
Actually, what happens if I just cross-slash Masamune?
I think it does a decent amount of damage. Yeah, you've got elementals, so it's definitely gonna, yeah. Oh, and Air's basic combo got it, good.
Get wrecked.
Get him. God, I got so used to using focus thrust in this. Like, I used it a decent amount in the first game, but like, I still use triple slash when there's a lot of guys, but like focus thrust became my default go.
I use Braver a lot.
Yes. Also, yeah, Braver state on my basic hotbar is like when enemies are staggered or when I just need a big damage push, it's so good. Firebolt Blade is another one of Cloud's moves that's like such a classic, not just because it does 2 types of elemental damage, but because he will chase enemies down. I do like his unique command from the Folio, the aerial onslaught. It's a little hard to pull off because you have to be in the air, but if you can land it, it's pretty good. I also love that one of his combat barks when he uses it is time to return to the planet. Yeah, get that firework blade. Let's see if we can finishing touch this motherfucker.
I think I'm doing too much damage. I am level 70. Blech.
It's true, yeah. I think you're damage racing. You won't get it up. I did manage to end both Genova Life Clinger and the final Sephiroth fight when I actually won with finishing touch.
Oh, they're following Aerith. Okay, well. Perfect
Yeah,
time to
like I
heal.
said, his aggro is a little weird, but yeah, you've got the Magnify on Clouds. It's pretty easy.
Ah!
Ooh, good perfect block.
Listen, every single one of my characters has precision defense and stalwart block. Every single one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And Sephiroth's like, okay then, try this.
Let's see. What do I want to hit with? Yeah, let's do Radiant Ward.
And this, like I said, this is another thing. The limit breaks only go up to level 3. We're not going to get level 4 limit breaks final game.
Hello.
I wonder if it'll be... Oh, here's Heartless Angel. Luckily, Cloud has the ATP bars you need. Almost cooked you.
Almost.
But you were too fast for him. But, like, I'm wondering if they will make the ultimate weapons every character has and their limit breaks, like, part of the story, or will it just be, like, the climax of progression? I do kind of hope they... So, in the original game, when you get to the very final fight with Shirtless Sephiroth, Cloud automatically limit breaks and only can do Omni Slash. And
Yeah.
so if you don't get Omni Slash in the base game, he will do it there no matter what. I hope they do let you Omni Slash before that. If we were to if I were to like write a perfect conclusion to that, we should include a double Omni Slash. Okay, he's Octo Slashing.
I'm trying to build up enough so I can...
Aerith needs one more. You could try...
I think she needs 2 more. Let me see here. got
Yep,
one.
got him. Breaking one makes the Octo Slash livable, I think. Unfortunately, Aerith decided to walk into the combo.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
Yeah. If you break one, you'll live. Nope, you got synergy ability up. Or is actually that might just be refocus.
That's just a refocus. Also, I don't like how Cure actually takes a moment to fucking actually proc.
Yeah, it's got casting time. There's a few things like that.
Okay, I can't do
Also-
it. Perfect. We go.
Yeah,
On it.
this is gonna stagger him. Cook him. Get him.
Finishing touch. Let's go. Oh God, I hate.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's got a mandatory do the final phase. That's it. You got some ATB bars, so it shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, I still. Oh,
Watch his
that's why
arms.
he's doing
Ow.
this.
Yeah, he's gonna do Temper's finish. Lay the smack on him. There it is.
Sephiroth. He's like,
I'm still like a fucking ghost, man. I don't even feel it.
It's like, I'm out. Fuck this. But yeah, no. So like, something is happening here. I'm not entirely sure what's happening. I have my ideas what's happening. Other people are not as sure as what's happening, and the internet is a little divided on it.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those things where, like, they know they're doing a trilogy. You're going to have to wait until the third game to get the exact frame of reference. I'm pretty sure I get the vibe they're putting out, like I said earlier. We're on a path that has an ending. We are going to cover all the plot beats of the original Final Fantasy VII. That means that despite those jokes about, like, Aerith having, you know, debug dialogue for events after she died, or like hacking her back into the game and shit, which arguably could be what this is a reference to anyway, we still have to take her out of the plot.
Yeah. Also, I do think it's important that they held hands there like they did on the date.
Yes, they hold hands, but also she fades into live stream, like when you die. Also, yes, I do love that you get iframes when you do a limit break. It's very funny to just be like, nah, fam. And then this is a very important sequence as well.
We got him.
Zack is such a good boy.
So this is it, huh?
I feel like Zack, like, has realized that, like, he's basically cheating death, like, every second he's still here.
Oh no, like he has that conversation with Biggs back in the, you know, Dream Midgar,
Yeah.
where he realizes that, you know, he should have died, and you know, this is like Biggs's like whole thing is like he doesn't know what he's supposed to do with his life. He was supposed to die.
I do appreciate there, though, like I said, Zack ends it with, you know, well, for now it's over, see ya, like basically letting you know, hey, I'm not done yet, I'll be back, guys. But yeah, so Zack just kind of takes everything on the chin now. Now we have new camera filters.
Like, at first I was concerned if maybe, like, Cloud is doing a hallucination now, like, and stuff.
Definitely, and Cloud is still mentally pretty fucked. There's some stuff we'll see in, like, the ending cinematic. But I think this, because we have the rainbow effect on the Whispers, this is just Cloud seeing the world he created. He created a timeline when he crossed the barrier and blocked Sephiroth's blow where Aerith is maybe not dead. But the others didn't cross with him.
So Cloud is currently living in two futures, or two fates.
Yeah.
Wake up.
And like I said, they've left themselves a very easy way to solve this. You're going to get like 2 chapters into the next game, and then North Crater's going to happen. But yeah, that's such a fucking mind blow shot when he's like, hey, Aerith, open your eyes. And she's just like, yep, it me.
She doesn't say anything, though. Like, this is something. She doesn't talk in the presence of others. Like, normally this would be the scene where, like, Cloud is laying her into the water.
Yes, Cloud would be wading into the water to let her go.
Also, and interesting recharacterization of Sid, too.
I like the Sid a lot. We knew they were going to have to do work with him because Sid's relationship with Shira and with Shinra as a company is very weird. So this kind of recontextualizes it. They still say that he worked at Shinra.
Yep.
But they made it so that he met Aerith's mother, Ifalna.
Completely fell in love.
Yeah, had a wee little crush on her. Sid likes MILFs. Who knew? But that seems to have, like, put him in a mind where, like, made him realize that maybe Shinra's not the greatest, and kind of got him on his independent streak. The skies are for me, the skies are for everybody kind of a thing. So we do the static effect. I almost expected her to do the fucking shish gesture here.
Yeah, no, same. Oh, she does talk in the presence of others.
Yes. But Cloud doesn't talk back to her in this sequence.
Am I having an issue?
I don't know. I think I hear Lucky okay. Is the stream doing all right? I think it is.
Let me double check.
Lucky may have been a little quiet.
Sorry, I might have been leaned away a bit. But, yeah, but Tifa is hit by this really hard. I think we talked about this. Something they really wanted to do was hammer home the friendship between Tifa and Aerith.
And while we just saw Cloud with his, like, gaslight filter on, and then he sees Aerith, Tifa's gaslight filter showed her Aerith dead.
Oh, the land. No, that's just a normal thing. I actually play through. I have my wireless set up so that even if if my LAN cable comes up, the wireless just automatically defaults to wireless. It what keeps my things from going out.
Yeah, that's just the PS4's like that, or PS5's like that. I have that error back and forth. This is another great scene.
Glenn. Current prevailing theory is that man's Cloud's father, by the way.
Oh, is Glenn supposed to be Cloud's dad? He did leave when he was young. I'd take it. That could be an interesting little bit of retroactive continuity.
There's actually a it's not just because of the looks, it's also because you know how Cloud's always asking for like 2,000 gil.
Oh, does he use that?
That's a Glenn thing. Glenn basically says as long as you have like 2,000 gil, you know, you can make it in life. So that's why he's like he usually borrows like money from other people.
Oh, and
then that got passed
Claudia
down.
tried to give Cloud 2,000 gil.
And then, you know, when Cloud is like charging people, what does he usually say?
Yeah, 2,000.
2,000 gil.
Because he got that from his mother. That's cute. I like that. I wonder if we'll wrap that around. But yeah, Rufus straight up says, this war is fake. You're distracting me from Sephiroth.
Yeah. But there is something more than Cloud, because Glenn was murdered by Rufus, but also at one point fought Sephiroth. And actually met Sephiroth when he was young. That's like part of the story that you see in Ever Crisis.
Yeah.
They haven't like done the full story there yet, and unfortunately a lot of that story I think was in First Soldier, but
yeah, that's what First Soldier was supposed to cover, but obviously that was a mobile-only battle royale, so... Shout out to Rufus Shinra, by the way.
Did it again.
Weird guy talking to me. Blam.
Also, I really didn't like the Rufus fight. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, it was a little irritating this time. It's... This game is very, like, action-focused, and you gotta build ATB, and Rufus wants you to be, like, weirdly patient.
Well, it's that also that, but the only time you can pressure him is when he reloads, and if you hit him any other time, he just counter, knock you to the ground, and then reload.
Yeah.
It's just like, son of a bitch.
Or he just, if you do ranged attacks now, because Cloud can do that whenever, he just ignores it.
Mm-hmm.
And Scotch and Koch will yell at you about it. By the way, didn't those guys fucking die? Didn't Aerith kill them? I guess not. But I thought they fucking died. I'm glad they're back, though.
I feel like people's death are exaggerated, because
I guess if we don't see them turn into Mako, into life stream,
or we don't see blood, because that was definitely a thing. Cloud goes slashing through a lot of people, but it's not until like he went like, you know, semi Sephiroth that, you know, blood started spraying everywhere.
Yeah. Also, this is, I think, an important sequence. We've got two of the proto weapons, who are slightly differently colored, can still defeat the Dark Whispers. This makes me wonder if maybe we're not going to fight Sapphire weapon, but rather Sapphire's going to come bail Tifa out.
I think Sapphire is still going to fight Shinra.
Yes, because it's still going to... I think it'll still attack Junon, because that's such an iconic set piece, but...
It all felt way too real.
Also, I think this scene's very important where Zack goes, wasn't a dream. Because, like, some stuff is like a dream,
So too do they part.
but also we've got multiple universes, so some stuff is not dream.
But who's to say they can't unite again?
Zack, ever the hopeful boy.
Yes. But the next day at Nibelheim.
No, I'm pretty sure they're gonna use Nibelheim as the Mediel. Like, I don't know if they'll wipe Mediel off the map. They might do that so they don't have to rebuild as many new areas. Because in the third game, we're still gonna have to be going backtracking to a couple places. Like, we'll have to go back to Gold Saucer. We'll probably have to go back to Junon. We might be able to skip Calm in the Grasslands, because the Midgar segment is very direct. You just go to Midgar, so they could just do that. But if they do the diamond weapon fight out in the Grasslands, I don't know. Maybe they'll have a special...
That'll probably take place in the area that's on the world map, but not accessible to you.
Yeah.
Because it's past the checkpoint. It's because it's to the north of Midgar, where you can't go.
Like, they're gonna have to reuse Cosmo Canyon. also,
This is another... what?
No. Well, no, say what you want.
I was going to say, I think it's important to note that Cloud has the colorless materia now.
Yes. Well, actually, I have a weird-ass theory, because Cloud also has something else that we'll see in a second.
That, I think, is just part of the plot lining up, because Cloud did have that. We still got that thing back, but yeah. This is a very interesting sequence where, like, is Sid talking about Aerith like she's there or like she's not there?
Finally.
You see Yuffie shot, Aerith not there.
Now she is.
Now Aerith there.
Fair.
Tifa super sad. And it feels like Nanaki can tell that like Aerith's presence is there, but he doesn't act like she's physically there.
Nanaki is also, I think, someone that was in tune with the Planet of the Knowledge at some point.
And also explicitly in Remake, Aerith accidentally like gassed him up with knowledge of other timelines.
Yeah. Gasp.
The hell?
Oh, now I see. The black materia is inside that orb. Okay, it's an
Yeah,
orb within
it's
an
like
orb.
orbs and orbs, yeah.
Okay. This is something that made me go, what?
Yeah, this exact part's a little weird. When I was realizing what we're going for, yeah, that I'm like, okay, that's new. I guess it technically disguised itself as a temple last time, so sure, but that part's weird, where Cloud just hides it in his sword.
You have to promise not to look up.
But at this point, or relatively soon at this point, you do get the black materia back.
Well, now I gotta look.
But yeah, so Cloud sees the rip in the sky, which was kind of like
Don't let what get to me.
Zack's timeline's
It's not
vibe of like, hey, this is a fragmented world.
Now let's go get Sephiroth. He's hiding up north.
North.
This is probably something the crew should
He is.
Ask
unpack
about,
a little bit more.
it's like,
His soldier's intuition.
Better hope you're right.
But there is still a good moment here where like Barrett's like looks at Tifa like, Tifa, you gonna say anything? Okay, no, fine.
We trust you. Just remember, we got everything riding on this. And that's a load you'd best be ready to carry.
No heavy load. We're close to capacity as it is.
God damn it, Sid.
Don't worry about me. I can handle it.
Also, yes, there's a lot of really good remixes in this. They remix the main theme so many times and other stuff.
Cloud sounds a lot more confident in himself. And that doesn't seem like bravado.
Yes. I think it's because when he's not still being gaslit, I think this Cloud has that confidence. We'll see it in a second, but he has determination.
You gonna be okay getting back?
A replay of an earlier conversation.
And if I said I wasn't?
He remembers the conversation.
Don't
Yeah.
worry. It's like a second home.
I guess. But what if...
We do technically need to go back to the Forgotten Capital because at some point in Final Fantasy VII, the base game, Bugenhagen takes you back there to explain what the fuck a holy is.
Thanks. I'll keep an eye out.
I don't know if they changed that dialogue. That might be related to some different stuff.
They did patch. They did patch.
I think I always remember her saying that she doesn't like the open sky.
Good luck.
Aerith. I will stop Sephiroth. Trust me.
This is pretty much a recreation of the final scene in Loveless in a way.
Yeah.
Promise?
Promise.
And then, which also is important because in the play, if you're not on a date with Yuffie or Tifa, if it's Aerith or any of the males, Aerith is Princess Rosa.
Yep.
Don't ask us where we got the wings on the tiny Bronco, by the way.
I have no idea. We're out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, we're in that one tiny patch of grasslands on the North Continent. And then super dramatic zoom out shot.
It makes me think of the original of Aerith looking at the high wind.
Yeah, I think that's what we're aiming for here.
And no promises await at Journey's End. Well, I don't want us to get hit by the fucking
Yeah.
thing, so.
It's a vocal track. They'll get us. This is the end game screen. You can now access chapter selection.
Yep.
But yeah,
let's see here.
But yeah, so that's the ending sequence, which has a lot of people perplexed. Like I said, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why, but something Kate Sith says very early on really resonated with me, and I'm just kind of taking that to heart. His first fortune with Cloud is that he says that there'll be a last, trust in other people. There'll be a last minute twist that you will basically it, but it's for the better. And so I just kind of was like, okay, they're gonna change some stuff up, but they want me to trust them, so I'm gonna let it ride. So that's how I feel about this ending. Okay, we're doing something a little weird, but functionally, it's still the same. So I'm gonna trust them. But I do agree that it is weird, and people are like, if you don't get what's going on, I think that it's intentional. We've left it open-ended, and we're gonna explain it later.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait, the 3 or 4 years for the third game to come out.
Oh, I hope it's only 3 years for 2027. Chadley?
It's so
Cloud.
good to see. I've been traveling from
Do you know there's some people out there who hate Chadley?
I'm having some difficulty narrowing.
Yeah, I've heard some people talk about how they don't like how Chadley and Mai interrupt the game. I think it's completely optional. It doesn't really break up your flow. I think Mai is supposed to be deliberately a little stilted compared to Chadley.
Yeah, she's a freshly made AI.
Yeah. She doesn't even have a body yet.
I do want that elemental and that magnifying.
But
I have to go to Harvard
no, I don't.
that.
I like Chadley because he's got stuff going on. I do think that talking about gameplay stuff, the amount of menus you have to jump through to do some of this stuff is a little annoying. If you go to do a simulator battle and you realize, or you're doing a lot of them and you need to switch materia setups between them, you have to back all the way out, wait for Chadley to finish his line, and then go back to him after editing your materia. It's a little clunky. It's not a deal breaker, but there are a couple of places where things like that, the amount of menus you got to jump through are a little much.
And personally, I like Mai's monster factoids.
Yeah, no, it's cute. I like it. I like world building. And there's a lot of that in this game. We've mentioned a little, but straight up they talk about, the Republic of Junon, all that stuff going on there. We have a lot going on with Wutai and the Shinra Resistance Committee. We're setting up for a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of payoff to be had. And I think the really striking thing is that like I mentioned earlier, this game ends right where they said it would end, right? They said, "Oh, you're going to get to the Forgotten Capital." And that's where it cuts off, where the first disc ends. And yes, that does mean that the final game technically is 2 discs, but I mentioned this before. The only reason why Final Fantasy VII is 3 discs is because there's a lot of pre-rendered cutscenes and music and stuff on that 3rd disc for the finale. Most of your work is in disc 1 and 2.
I'm thinking about it, because we're gonna go to North Crater. We're gonna get boopled. Yep. Once we get boopled, that's when the attack weapons show up, and everyone starts scrambling to deal with that. Which weapon attacks Midel? Or was that a Sephiroth attack? I can't remember.
Midel? That's Ultima Weapon.
Ultima Weapon, that's right.
And I feel like I said, the weapons are going to be a lot more involved because, I don't think that's exactly where you get it, but you do get the Ultima Weapon, the Cloud's Ultima Weapon from the Ultima Weapon, the monster. I don't remember if it's directly connected to where you can get the Ultima Materia. I do think Ultima is going to come back in the 3rd game. They've already got Comet in this game.
What I am personally hoping for is because what I'm personally hoping for is that Cloud does some weird shit with fucking the empty holy materia and the black materia to make Ultima. Because it's Ultima. It's it shouldn't be I feel like it shouldn't just be a fucking random ass thing you pick up. I would like some story.
No, it's like Knights of the Round. that's such a part of the mythos of the game that they have to like extend that.
Like,
Let me see.
because you find Ultima actually in fucking Coral Town after you complete the huge materia there. If you succeed it, it's just on the fucking ground. Just right there. It's so weird. But like, I'm hoping it's some like offshoot. Oh, that's what I was looking for. That's exactly what I was looking for.
So we're gonna, like I said, I think we're gonna visit everywhere. But I don't know what order. Like, I understand them not emphasizing Medial. I think it will still show up, but it'll probably show up just as part of the Ultima weapon attack because it gets destroyed and sinks into the life stream, and that's how Cloud and Tifa end up in the trauma dimension.
Yeah, it probably would.
We could still bring that back for Nibelheim because we do a lot with Mount Nibel and like the Land of the Dead.
Honestly,
I think they would still probably show Medial in some form just to get some of the set pieces out. You know,
they might change up what Medial is, so it might line up with a different section that they might use or something.
Yeah, because that whole southern chunk of the map already has been moved, right? Like, they already moved the temple out of there, so...
Like, I'm trying to think if there's any other, like, locations. Because we got... Yeah, no, like, the more I think about it, I really can't. Like,
yeah,
I think we've gone just about everywhere except, like, you know, the north and north crater.
Yeah, the big ones we're missing are Rocket Town, Wutai...
Rocket Town, yeah.
And basically the whole North Continent set piece, Icicle Village, the Great Glacier, Gaia's Cliffs, North Crater, like that's a whole chain of events. It's going to be weird because I feel like, depending on how much they speed it up, the intro to the third game is going to feel very linear. Kind of like how Remake was. Like you're not going to get a lot of open world set pieces. There probably will still be a similar kind of like open world-ish map to the Great Glacier. But it's still going to be, like, a lot of, like, dungeon stuff. But then you're going to do North Crater. And, like, then it's, you know, the Escape from Junon. Then it's the Huge Materia quest, which is... Let me double-check what those are in. It's Fort Condor, so we're actually going to go to Fort Condor, I'm pretty sure. We're going to, like, go to that island.
Yeah, so that's Junon region.
Yeah. There's the... Corel Huge Materia. I think we are going to see that. Because you mentioned this before. The train track is visible.
Yep.
I do wonder... I wonder if, like, the way we're going to phrase this out is that, like... will the Huge Materia be because weapons are dying in those areas? Or... will we have to fight them for it? Like, will we have to go back to Coral Reactor and, like, fight a weapon, and then it's going to give up its huge materia, but Shinra will try and steal it from us or something?
I think what's going to happen is Shinra's going to get is going to, like, kill the weapon at the reactor, then load up the materia and have that be transported, and you're like, no, we can't let them have it.
Yeah, and I bet that's going to for sure happen with Sapphire Weapon. I bet that's going to attack Junon, get killed, and then Shinra's going to take their huge materia to the underwater reactor. We won't probably do that set piece right away, because normally that is when Cloud rejoins the party, and we've talked about this before, but I strongly suspect Midgar 7th is going to come back for that.
I hope so.
I do hope so, yes. I did get that side quest where you meet up with them again.
Yeah,
the commander straight up is like, yeah, I know there's something going on with you, but I don't care.
Like, you got us the fucking award and the prisoner accommodation, and you didn't murder my guys.
And you killed that weird fiend. We're out.
Yeah.
Didn't see nothing, didn't hear nobody. And like I mentioned before, there are two groups of Shinra defectors. There are guys who side with Sid to steal the Highwind. I do wonder if maybe that part will be playable, Sid stealing the Highwind, and that'll be like an intro to his gameplay.
I don't know if, like... I think Sid should probably pilot, but I want the 7th to, like, probably do it for their captain or something, you know?
No, yeah, I don't know if the 7th will directly come back for that, but they'll probably come in when you steal the submarine.
Yeah.
Because that has a couple of guys that basically Cloud... In the original game, Cloud basically just kidnaps those guys. Like, he takes over the sub, and he's like, all right, either you fly the sub or I beat you up. And they're like, beats working for Shinra.
Well, it's also interesting because the Midgar 7th actually referenced the undersea reactor, and the commander is not happy about it.
Yeah.
So, like, no, like, I do hope that we continue with the Midgar 7th.
Yeah.
The 7th Infantry.
And then, after all of that, then you go to Rocket Town, because that's depending on how many of those quests you actually successfully completed, Shinra will load the huge materia into the rocket and fire it into space. So I think that no matter what, some huge materia is going to get away from you.
Well, you could still get that. You could still get that one.
Well, yeah, no. You can still get them if you unlock the passcode correctly. But that, I think, is going to be, like, the catharsis of Sid's plotline is going to be, like, we actually finally go back to Rocket Town. And, like, I'm very curious to see how they'll handle that, because I suspect that the people of Rocket Town will still think Sid is pretty cool. I wonder if... Because I can't imagine this Sid lording over a town as, quote-unquote, the captain. Like, that just doesn't fit his vibes, right?
No, like, Sid in this game is still a little bit of an ass, but he's not, like, an asshole-less asshole. He's just someone who doesn't take lip from others. Like, literally, when Barrett's...
He's got cantankerous vibes.
Yeah. Barrett's, like, he mentions basically that, even though he flies independently, sometimes he still flies for Shinra because, you know, they still have their uses. And Barrett's like, hey, I don't jive with that. And Sid's just like, well, I don't jive with you trying to lord over me, so fuck you. And Barrett's like,
Yeah, Barrett's like, all right, you okay? I'll get you now. So, like, yeah. I am very curious, like, when will Vincent become playable? Like, because he kind of hangs out with you, but I don't see any hints of his gameplay style other than that he is a boss fight.
I think he's actually going to become playable very quickly in the
Yeah. I suspect they'll probably do like they did with Red, where just like after some initial setup in Icicle Village, Vincent will be like, all right, Cloud, I'm going to need to fight with you now. It's going to be tough out there.
Yeah. Sid, I think will probably take a while. He may wait till, I don't know if it'll be till Rocket Town or the
At minimum, it'll be until we steal the Highland.
Yeah. But no, I think Vincent will be immediate. Like, shoot, like they even might move Lucrezia's crystal, like, to somewhere that, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's an optional thing in the OG game, but no, you can just find Lucrezia sealed up in a crystal. It's where you get Vincent's ultimate weapon.
Ultimate weapon, the death penalty.
Yeah, and gets what was it, Chaos?
Yeah, his limit break Chaos.
Chaos.
Yeah. Which is very funny because Yuffie suggests in the Shinra Manor that there's a great materia hidden in there, and there is. It's in Vincent. The materia to summon Chaos is lodged inside his body.
Hojo did some weird ass shit, y'all.
That was not Hojo's fault.
That was not Hojo. Was that gassed?
No, it wouldn't be gassed. That was Lucrezia. Technically, she did it to save his life because the reason why Vincent wears a headband is because Hojo shot him in the face with a gun. I know, it's wild. But basically, if my understanding from Dirge of Cerberus, this is not necessarily strictly canon to how the remake trilogy is going to do it. But, so Vincent's dad is a scientist who's studying chaos, basically, the materia, summons. He works with his beautiful young assistant, Lucrezia. Vincent is Lucrezia's bodyguard in the Turks. It does kind of imply that, like, Lucrezia and Vincent's dad might have something going on. But also Vincent is, like, following her on, like, picnics and shit. Vincent's dad dies horribly in a materia experiment. As you do. And this, I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly, causes Vincent to basically break things off with Lucrezia. He's like, hey, I need some space.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I paused there because I think the stream may have been freaking out a little bit. It like looked like it was looping some video section, but we're caught up now. I had to double check. there, but we might be experiencing some lag in jumper. I'm pretty sure Vincent, after that incident with his dad, is like, "Hey, Lucrezia, can't hang out with you anymore. Got a lot of weird baggage." And she's like, "Okay, cool. Here's my new boyfriend." And just Hojo just kind of like greasily slides into the scene.
How? I don't understand.
I really hope we get some proper character building for Lucrezia, because like Lucrezia kind of sucks, guys. Like, she's not great. Mostly because first of all, she gets with Hojo, so what the fuck? But second of all, after getting with Hojo, she agrees to experiment on her unborn child with him and infuse him with Genova cells. If you didn't know, this is Sephiroth.
No, I'm hoping like Lucrezia gets like knocked comatose and for some odd reason.
But like, and so Vincent goes to Hojo in the basement of Shinra Lab and is like, "Hey, Hojo, this is real fucked up. I know I'm not dating Lucrezia anymore, but you can't do this to her and also to your kid, I guess." And Hojo's like, "Yes, interesting theory. Have you tried my retort? Gone!"
Yeah, bang.
And then Hojo implies that he's going to keep Vincent alive and do some fucked up science shit to him, but like I said, in Dirge of Cerberus' flashbacks, Lucrezia gets to him and is like, "Oh shit, dude, you're going to die. Here, this is the only thing I can do." Crams the materia into him, and then... So I think the implication is that Galleon Beast is because of Hojo's fucked up experiments. The fact that Vincent can turn into Chaos is because Lucrezia, like I said, crammed the materia into him.
Do you think we're going to get 4 limit breaks in the third game?
I think we're going to see the final limit breaks. I don't know if we're going to get all 4 levels. I would guess probably, because that is kind of how this second game goes. Like, the first game is like you can access the second level limit breaks. In this, you can get to the 3rd tier. I assume we're going to get to the 4th tier. Like, again, I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. Like, will we keep synergy strikes and the limit, like, up effect?
I mean,
I like it. If we go to 4 levels, that's going to be tough, though.
Well, there are, like, accessories and stuff that, like, help you, like, do that, too. But, I guess
it's going to be a little complex. I do hope that we can get there. But, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to go. Like, technically, I think we've already, like... Let me actually... look up Barrett's limit breaks.
Isn't satellite laser his ultimate? No, or is that his 3rd?
Let me look at. So Big Shot is his first one.
Yeah.
Which we just skip. That's just his focus shot. Yeah, Sat Beam is his 3rd. Catastrophe is his final.
Well, we already have Catastrophe.
I know, so that's gonna be weird. I think honestly they'll come up with something for Barrett. Barrett's limit breaks are weird because his first one is Big Shot, which is just his focus shot attack.
Isn't it Mana Blow?
Yeah, Mind Blow is his second.
Mind Blow.
It might still be called Mana Blow, but that's like in his first tier. His second tier is Grenade Bomb and Hammer Blow.
Grenade Bomb is probably a fire in the hole.
Yeah, because it's like an AoE shot. Hammer Blow is interesting because like technically in the gameplay, that's Barrett just grabs one guy and fucking throws them out of the fight. It is an instant death effect. That I think is just with like his punches and kicks. Sat Beam is his 3rd. Anger Max is actually his 2nd level 3 limit break. That's already in his Maximum Fury. Where Barrett just fires his gun a lot. And then Catastrophe is his final. So I suspect we'll rework that. Cloud, we do a good job because Cloud is, we keep cross slash, Braver just becomes a normal attack, Blade Beam becomes a normal attack. We've got, Ascension as Clim Hazard, and then he gets Finishing Touch. He's technically skipping Meteor Rain, but that's because I think we gave that to Zack.
Yeah.
And then his ultimate is Omni Slash. I talked about how for Aerith, Planet Protection is actually one of her 3rd tiers, but we still don't have Great Gospel. Let me see the... Tifa's limit breaks is, her first one is Beat Rush, Somersault, Water Kick, Meteor Dive. Dolphin Blow is actually her level 3. But her other level 3 is Meteor Strikes. I'm kind of sad we don't have Meteor Dive, but that's makes sense because that's when she fucking like suplexes guys. We definitely don't have her ultimate technique because that's Final Heaven.
I'm just glad we don't have to do fucking a slot system for this shit.
Yes. Red. Technically, they do red to his level 2 immediate with Bloodfang, but that's just because Bloodfang is better than Sledfang. And we kind of got his vibes from Lunatic High, because that buffs the entire party. That's haste on everybody.
Yeah, we got that with
Yeah.
with
They also made Stardust Ray his normal attack. That was another one of his level 2 limit breaks. But then we got Howling Moon and Earth Rave. So Cosmo Memory is his final one that we don't have yet. Which will just fucking summons like fire beams from everybody. Sid's going to be very interesting because his first one is just Boost Jump. His second one is Dynamite. Please make that a normal attack.
just yeet dynam.
He's got Hyper Jump, which is just a bigger jump. Then he has Dragon, which is just Sid summons a motherfucking Ghost Dragon to increase his damage. Then he has Dragon Dive, which, by the way, Roche already does Dragoon Dive.
I mean, you can't get jump. It kind of sucks, but it is in here.
Yeah, jump should not be 2 ATB bars is the problem. But
And you
it's
should
cool.
not spend like 20 seconds in the air.
Yeah, it's a little... Hopefully they can fine-tune that. Big Brawl is his other level 2, and his final one is High Wind, which is just Sid summons the High Wind to fucking obliterate the enemy with missiles. That, I hope, stays in somehow. Yuffie's limit breaks are Greased Lightning, Clear Tranquil, which is her AoE heal she doesn't need, Landscraper, Bloodfest. So yeah, I think just Greased Lightning is just her Bloodbath, but better.
Okay.
Because her Bloodfest is her level 2, and it's one of her level 2s in game. Doom of the Living is her level 3, and then her final one is All Creation. Which you do get, by the way, from doing the Wutai Pagoda, so... Vincent's interesting because he only has 4, and I don't know if we're going to get them all. Like, we might, if we're doing all 4 levels of Limit Break, we might, because it's Galleon Beast, Death Gigas, Hellmasker, and then... Sorry, we've been going for almost 3 hours, as I expected. But I'm getting a little dry. Yeah, his final one is Chaos. Chaos.
I remember. I never remember Vincent's third. I think because usually by the time I reach his third, I've usually gotten Chaos. I'm just like, no, I'm going to the 4th one. Goodbye.
Yeah, the way Vincent's limit breaks are weird. Like, all of them have their own unique effects, but the way that Vincent levels up his limits is you have to use his limit break and then have that kill enemies.
Yeah.
So to get Death Gigas, you have to kill 40 enemies, period. To get Hellmasker, after getting Death Gigas, you have to kill 56 further enemies.
Yeah, I'm just like, no.
But then Chaos, you get it from just for Lucretia's Crystal Cave. And I don't even think you have to unlock Hellmasker to use it properly.
No, you don't. I remember this.
But yeah, so Chaos is just good. Like I said, Aerith's limit breaks, we've already hit some of them. Healing Wind is her first one. Fury Brand is actually her second one. It's her tier 3 in this, but that makes sense. Protection of the Planet is the last one. And then, like I said, we never got to Great Gospel. And if you don't know what Great Gospel does, is Great Gospel is it's a full party heal and MP refill, and also makes you invincible. So it's just like her ultimate technique. Great Gospel is also alluded to because that is that healing rain effect, which shows up in Advent Children, is supposed to be Great Gospel. So I suspect that'll come back. But yeah, and like I said, Cloud is, Braver's a normal attack, Cross Slash is his first, Blade Beam is his other one. Climb Hazard became Ascension. He doesn't have Meteor Rain, but he does get Finishing Touch, and then Omni Slash is the final one. But yeah, so we go to Rocket Town. You got to fight Diamond Weapon. Then you go back to Midgar.
Like, I mean,
Sister Ray. Like, it's going to be a time. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think they're necessarily going to need to build that many new, like, full maps. I think they're just going to have to mostly build set pieces.
Yeah,
And-
if there is a new... There'll probably be at least 2 new... Well, it might be 2 new open world. I don't know if they'll make Rocket... They might make Rocket Town a region as well. Actually, no, there should be like 3, because Wutai's a whole island.
Yeah, but
You
Wutai's
should
going
have
to
a
be
Wutai
one.
region,
The northern
North
Oxford.
should probably be a region, yeah. Because you've got the Great Glacier and stuff, which might even be how it's called, the Glacier region. And then maybe Rocket Town is a open world map. But by that point, by the time we actually go to Rocket Town, you should have unlocked the highway. So you'll be able to, like, macro zoom everywhere.
It could just be it could just be like Nibelheim, because Nibelheim is actually a very small map when you get down to it. Like,
that would make sense because, like, Rocket Town is just on the opposite side of Nibelheim.
Honestly, hang on, can I pull up the fucking map?
You can zoom up to world map at this stage, yeah.
Let me see here. Yeah, like, as you can see here, we don't have, like, anything, like, south. So, like, what they could maybe do is, like, maybe take the Junon region, maybe, like, stick... Let me see here.
Yeah.
Because there is, like, let's see, this is the thing. Like, I don't think they use, like,
that's
any
Condor
of...
Hill.
Yeah, like, I don't think they use any of, like, this over here in either map.
No, that's part of Grasslands.
Yeah, but this is part of Grasslands. Like, because here's the swamp.
Yeah.
Because, like, if I go up to the...
Oh, yes. Actually, technically, you're right. I don't know if we actually...
Like, because then...
No,
like,
we don't access that corner. Okay.
Yeah, no. Like, this right here, unused. So, who knows? Maybe they can tuck in, like maybe Medeal in there. Maybe Rocket Town. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
If
Because
we...
Fort Condor is on the island to the south of Junon now.
Yes. But then we bring up the Nebo region. Oh, this is
think
something that...
you can't zoom out there, but I think technically Rocket Town should be in that area just north of Nebel.
Let's see here. So, I also love this. You can actually switch between the old and new map.
Yeah. The present and the past. That's very fun.
Like...
But yeah, back up to the world map level.
Yep.
You see that like chunk of land just north of Nebel? I think that would be Rocket Town because you can see Northwoods way at the north.
Yeah.
And Wutai should be to the far east of this map.
I don't know what they're gonna do about that, honestly, the more I look at it.
They might, because the map does loop originally, or at least it loops east-west, they might just make it a globe and you can go around it in the high wind.
Like, we also got, like, god damn it, I wish I could zoom in on the world map, not like this, but, like, we also have this, like, area a little covered up here.
I could see them, because I think they will do Bone Village, just to have it be a place. That would probably be tucked into that spot, like, north of Midgar.
Like, they might, like I said, we might have, like, two regions here. Like, we might have the north, like, taking up this area, and then whatever Rocket Town is gonna be, like, in this area. And they might, like, stick in, like, Medeal, Bone Village, or something. Or they might even, like, add some of it to Wutai. You never know.
Yeah. Because we don't know how they're going to handle Wutai. I do like that Yuffie straight up talks about the fact that when you're climbing Mount Nebel, that, you know, they have a giant mountain outside of Wutai. And canonically, she has climbed the giant statue of Dachau.
Yes.
Which is where we will get the three-peat, the Corneo trilogy.
Yep, I know. I'm somewhat excited about that.
No, you can't. I do believe as you complete story, the clouds kind of fade from other regions, but yeah, they're kind of like cleared by story clearance. You at the world map tier, you don't get to like uncover parts. You can fill in areas of your map, but there are areas that are shown in shadow, like you could go there that you can't access, like you just showed in Junon and
So again, they might like. Again, they're not gonna. They don't have to build anything from fucking scratch. I also do like how you can see Midgar here.
Yep. You can, yeah, that's a good touch because you can always see Midgar from the world map. You just can't go back.
Yeah. But
yeah, Northwood is where the Sleeping Wood is in the original. And I personally do like that they moved the temple up there because the temple was just in a random jungle on the South Islands, which makes no sense that because their capital is way up north. I do wonder if maybe we'll get some extra lore on some of our summons in the next game, because like Chadley mentioned that Shiva was a queen who healed the planet's wound with ice. I'm pretty sure that means that Shiva was canonically a Cetra, and she covered Genova with the Great Glacier.
I do hope we do get a little bit more of that. Like I'm pretty sure, like, when we get to there, like, I do hope we do keep doing the word intel. Like, yeah, no, we get to there, and we might just have to redo Shiva. And,
I mean, and we've already, obviously that's because in-game Bahamut has 3 tiers, but I do hope that, like, that means that they can excuse to, like, revamping Shiva and Ifrit and maybe Rama.
Yeah, like, cause Wutai will be Leviathan. That's no that's a no-brainer. And then so if we have North be Shiva, that leaves Ramu and
Yeah.
I lost his Ifrit.
Ifrit?
Thank
yeah.
you. To do.
Let's see. What's the ones we don't have?
If we're talking about, like, from
Alexander,
this, we have
Bahamut.
it's Knights of the Round,
Come
Hades,
on.
Typhon. Actually, I think that's it.
Yeah. Hades, which is located in the sunken Gelnica,
Yep.
or Relnica, as we say. That's after the submarine. Knights of the Round is on a secret island. You can only get. Oh, also, I kind of hope they bring the gold chocobo back. I like having the different chocobos for this game, but, like, again, that's part of the mythos.
That's what I need to do. I need to go do some chocobo racing. I think this will actually tie into Sam and Bill's story, because you have to know how about
Yeah, it kind of.
Bill was having that thing about he's going to try and get into chocobo conservation.
Yeah.
I think that's probably, like, that would
Ooh,
probably
and that could be like the hunt for the legendary gold chocobo.
Yeah. Like,
I have to admit, I'm a little.
You have to go find chocobos and bring them back to the conservation effort.
Yeah,
and
then
finding
maybe
them,
you'll find
you
the
get to-
rare gold.
And then finding them, you get to use them.
Yeah.
So that's where I think that's gonna go.
Yeah, that would probably make sense for that to come back. I do want to say, as a personal note, I find this game's treatment of Chocobo Sam a little weird. Out of the trio, I feel like he was the most villainous is the wrong word because he's actually kind of friendly, but the most antagonistic because, like, he tries to human traffic Tifa. He tries to kill you with robots a couple of times. He does, like, pull the coin trick on you in Aerith. Like, he's not the worst guy, but he definitely, like, it feels like they play him in this game like you had that same kind of bonding you do with Andrea and Madame M, which is weird because they don't quite do that. I wonder if, because originally the plan was to have a chapter with Tifa getting ready to go to Don Corneo. I wonder if maybe Sam was, like, more humanized in that,
Like,
and we
maybe-
just don't see that.
Like, maybe Sam told her, like, you don't want to do this, girly.
Yeah, and Tifa was like, no, I have to do this for reasons, and he
Yeah.
was like, okay. Like,
That
that
makes
would
it-
make him seem more normal.
Yeah. Because I don't think, like, the way he acts, Sam is a gruff dude, and he isn't afraid to pull a fast one on somebody, but he doesn't seem like a bad dude, you know?
Yeah, like, it says a lot about how I feel about Chocobo Sam that I believed Billy when Billy was like, he killed my pa and ma, and I'm like, yep, sounds like Chocobo Sam. He tried to kill me with cutter robots twice.
A lot of people try to kill you with cutter robots.
This is also true, yes. But, like, when you get to the end of the cutscene, he's just like,
Oh,
"Ah,
check
it
this
was the-
out! Mecha Chocobo!
Nice. Berserk. So there is a god Chocobo.
Yeah, you get this from doing the ultimate party animal Chocobo race.
Ah.
Listen, I'm actually, like, I don't know what it is, but I'm actually very good, but I'm using this. This is, oh, you cannot change gear. This is just your setting. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. But, like, the conclusion of that quest is, like, Sam is like, I didn't know that the Dawn was a scumbag, but he was a scumbag. So that's probably he disappeared your parents. Well, this gives a good opportunity to talk about some stuff. So there's a lot of mini games in Rebirth.
There is.
Not all of them are I mean, most of them are functional. I will say not all of them are great. I think you even had a couple of gripes about, if I remember rightly in the way back, you had a couple of gripes about Chocobo Racing as well.
A little bit. Like,
It's... I personally think I don't jibe with the mechanics. So the fact that you have both the speed balloon system to accelerate and can also lose speed when you bump into stuff, which is often beyond your control because the other racers are assholes.
yes.
But also you have to hold down X to accelerate. Which I don't think you've had a lot of problem with this, but I know
No.
I and a couple of other people in our Discord, like, got sore thumbs from so much chocobo racing.
I think you guys might just be squeezing your controller too hard.
Maybe. Like, I don't think it is pressure sensitive, but it is a racing game, so you feel like you got to hold down that button. Maybe if it was like, I know it's for the drift, but if one of the triggers was accelerate, that might be a little more comfortable. Because I do think decelerating is important. Like, you can absolutely, you can drift through some big turns, but you can also basically, quote unquote, break through them. If you let off the acceleration, your chocobo will slow down and you can make tighter turns. I will say, though, that I feel like sometimes I don't know if it was just my chocobo selection, the drifting sometimes feels inconsistent. Like, I feel like you need a minimum speed to drift.
No.
Or something. Like, there are times when my chocobo would just hop. I don't know if maybe I wasn't, like, hitting my controls correctly or something, but it's not super in-depth, but it's a little more in-depth than you'd think. And definitely, like, there are hard times when you want to, like, back-to-back drift, and the chocobo doesn't want to do that because you can't change directions while drifting very well. So, like, it's not really that bad, but it does have some stuff where I'm just like, yeah, I don't know if these... I'm not a fan of every single one of these mechanics. Cactar Gates cooked me so many times. Even when I knew I would have to switch gates, then other guys would fucking body block me.
Yeah. I don't like being in the pack. I really do not like being in the pack.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's a racing video game, so there's some rubber banding. I think the only time I ever got, like, super, super ahead was when because I did, like, the first batch of races, and then I came back for the Gold Cup, and I was like, oh, I gotta qualify for some races. So I had Selena, the final normal chocobo. I cooked some guys in, like, bronze and silver races pretty good, but when you get to the higher level stuff, like the Gold Cup, usually if nobody else, Hyperion is right up your ass. Constantly. So, like, there's a little bit of rubber banding. That's just kind of like par for the course for racing mini games, but it's still like I don't know. It's like not perfect. Like I said, I've had some time to think about it, and I'm like, it's okay. I don't want to, like, do chocobo racing constantly back to back. But it's not the worst. There's a couple of rough spots. But that is part of my earlier discussion of, like,
Where is this dude?
is there too much of this game? Well, it's Hyperion, so he's just in front of you, I think. It says he's, like... Actually, no,
he's
is he?
actually...
No,
yeah,
it's the green one, yeah. Is he lapping you?
No, he's not lapping me. He's just really far ahead. See, this is the problem. If you can get into first, you can absolutely get some distance. Because you don't have to worry about birds jostling you into stuff.
Yeah.
But that means if, like, your opponent gets there, that means they usually, can just run out of strike. Because I guarantee you, the opponents are going to have no problems running through stuff.
Yep. You can guarantee the AI made that turn perfectly.
Yeah. Also,
That's the thing. The AI always makes turns correctly. They don't always dodge obstacles correctly, but they do turns pretty well.
Yeah, I'm probably going to lose. Yeah, I've lost this one. Can I just... Yep.
You can just retry, yeah.
Yeah.
That
also,
at least is something I appreciate about almost every form of content in this game, is that resetting is pretty easy. If you're like, oh, I've fallen off the track, I'm definitely not winning this one, we just roll it back. Go again. But yeah, like I said, talking back to my earlier point about, like, how sometimes it feels like there is almost too much content to this. Like I said, there's over 20 fucking chocobo races. Like, if you were to do all of those back to back, that would be crazy. I think you're supposed to spread them out a little more.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah. But it is there's so much. Same with, like, Queen's Blood. That at least is strategically spread out throughout the game. But there's a lot of Queen's Blood. I will say, it only took me 30 minutes to do the Queen's Blood finale. But that was because I was technically pre-warned, because Alter did mention that there was a gimmick. So
me yelling about it in our chat did nothing?
I don't remember exactly what you said about the effects. Actually, no. You did talk about her minusing, I think. So that may have subconsciously prepped me. So, like, my headspace was in there, even though I was like, okay, we've got a gimmick, there's a trick here, and I was able to assemble a deck to beat it. That still, like I said, was still 30 minutes of hard resets. to get the optimal starting hand, and also sometimes she still just fucking obliterated
Stop
me.
bumping me!
I got Exodia'd. Need that Choco speed.
Well, that's the thing that bugs me. I don't mind getting bumped so much. It's just anytime I get bumped, I lose speed. I'm like, I need that.
Yeah, like I said, the interaction of the speed balloon system is a little... It feels like it's out of your control sometimes. Like, I would have preferred just a normal default, like, yeah, you immediately got a speed and lost it because you hit the wall. I would prefer a normal, like, speedometer type thing, but like I said, they're doing a mechanic. It's okay, you'll get around it. You're berserking right now.
I am berserking.
I
have no idea what that... Where did you come from?
Speed. But yeah, like... and I will say, I do kind of feel like even though I did not have as much of a struggle as you did getting into it, the Queen's Blood finale is still a little bullshit because it's not a normal match. Like, it's basically a puzzle match without the game telling you ahead of time it's a puzzle match.
I fucked up there.
Losing some juice.
Yep. I keep forgetting that it's 2 90-degree turns there.
Yeah. That's something I also feel like. I know that they've got the fucking track layout. I feel like my brain just doesn't absorb that information. Like,
Stop
I don't
bumping me!
I don't think ahead to like the exit.
I thought that was a balloon!
Nope, that's a bumper.
That's the thing I hate about them. If I hit it once, I'm probably gonna hit it twice.
Yeah, same with the Cactar gates. It's hard to get out of it. But yeah, no, like, this game has a lot of content. If you want to, you can just ignore most of it. That said, if you want maximum party friendship, you'll have to do all the side quests, which means that you will have to do some of these mini games. Like, I don't know if I would have gotten the most ultimate Tifa date if I had not done the Chocobo Billy side quest, because that's tied to Tifa, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And there's the like Casa del Sol date with Aerith, which involves some minigame runs. So, like, you got to do a little bit of minigaming. You don't have to do all of it, and they have hard modes for everything if you're a freak, like Shinra Middle Manager, the ultimate party guy.
He had an awakening of sorts.
Yeah. He still, I think, talks about his daughter, so I hope they're okay. Because he used to live in the Sector 7 slums. I hope his wife and daughter are all right. And this isn't like his weird... I mean, it still is his weird midlife crisis, but I hope it's not like a really sad midlife crisis. In the third game, I want to see his wife and daughter show up at Gold Saucer.
Oh, no, you know, he's gonna be the guy that gives us an in at fucking when we go back to Midgar. Just watch. He's gonna be... You know, he's gonna have a heart-to-heart with fucking Barrett over, you know...
Yeah.
About, like... You know, the Shinra... Like, he's not gonna lose faith in Shinra, but he's gonna be like, no, Shinra must change, and we must be the ones to do it.
Yes.
Like,
He will honestly believe in the Shinra creed.
Yeah. Well,
He's gonna be like that weird butler guy for the mayor, but for Reeve.
Yeah.
Because we gotta actually talk to Reeve, right? In the third game.
Well, yeah, no, because that's that's kind of Reeve's thing. Like, Reeve believes in Shinra. He doesn't believe in the fucking executives, though.
Yes. And I don't know if Reeve necessarily even believes in Shinra, like, as a name, but he's like, we have a lot of money and power as a company. We can do good. Like, we can build better cities and stuff. Better infrastructure.
Well, like, I don't know, like, how fucking Midgar would exist without Shinra, because it's one of those things that Midgar is Shinra and Shinra is Midgar, you know?
It's true, yes.
And I will say, like, if it's not, like, Shinra, Reeve believes in Midgar. There's a lot of people,
Yes.
like, he's in urban planning and development. So these are a lot of people, like, a lot of these people he takes care of.
Yeah.
So...
But, like,
Because, like, unfortunately, we didn't get to the conversation that I've been wanting where fucking Kate Sif calls out fucking Barrett on, you know, fucking needless deaths and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I'm hoping
that'll
I hope
still
they do this
happen.
better because... Oh, sorry, I'm cutting you off here. What were you saying?
No, it's fine. I think we're going the same place. Because, like, I think it was only, like, heavily implied in the original game. I don't know if they ever got around to outright stating that Reeve was Kate Sith. Spoilers, Reeve is Kate Sith.
Reeve is Kate. And from what I understand, Kate Sith is like controlled by Reeve, but also has an AI in it.
Yes, it's like semi-autonomous.
Yeah.
Like Reeve gives Kate Sith his marching orders, but I don't think that Reeve is literally putting on an Irish accent and talking to you through Kate Sith. I think that's just Kate Sith like interpreting what Reeve wants Kate Sith to say.
Yeah. But I think it's like an AI based off of Reeve though.
That would make sense based on how Shinra AIs have worked previously. Fuck you, AI Hojo. Send him into your fucking fun basement.
But no, like at one point, yeah, Kate Sith basically like dresses down Barrett, you know, for like the bombing and stuff, telling him like, yeah, you killed a lot of people for this, so like, how does that make you any better than us? He says like a line like, you know, a few of them is everything for everyone is everything for those who died, you know, and stuff like that, and
yeah,
takes Barrett to task for it. And
I think we've still got room for that conversation.
Yeah, no, because again, like I do like how they did Kate Sith. They didn't make him a blackmailing little fucker.
Yes.
Because that's what happens in the fucking original one. Kate Sith steals the keystone, gives the Shinra, and says, "I'm still going with you, and if not, we're gonna do something to Marlene." And Barrett's like, "You motherfucker."
Yeah, he reveals that Shinra knows about Elmira and Marlene and basically has them in custody or has them tracked so they can like get them.
Yeah.
I like the way they handle this better, which is that like Kate Sith still steals the keystone.
Mm-hmm.
He says later to the crew that he did it because he would much prefer the Turks go through the danger than us.
Oh yes,
I don't know if
they do upsell the fucking danger of the Temple of the Ancients. Like they are not shy about saying no one has come back from this alive, and it's just like, oh,
yeah. So like it makes sense. I also don't know how true that is exactly, but you know we'll see. But he still gets his moment where he fucking runs up and holds the temple up as it's collapsing.
I do like this scene a lot better.
Yes. Because it's still the original context where Kate Sith sacrifices himself, but it's a lot more like quick-paced and dramatic, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, and also while he does still decide to follow us because we're interesting, in the original, he just inserts himself when you're out with Aerith and is like, "Oh, I gave you a weird fortune. I have to follow you now and see if my fortune comes true." In this case, over the course of the Gold Saucer events, Kate Sith is just like, "You guys are interesting. You're fun. Stuff's going on with you guys."
Well,
he
also needs their help for Kate Sith help for a lot of things. You know, getting through like certain areas. You know, being part of the investigation on Dine.
Yeah,
like Kate Sith's involved in all of that.
Yeah, they intertwine him into the story a lot better, which I appreciate.
Yeah. By the way, I swear there's like 10 fucking different tracks for Chocobo Racing.
Yeah, no, they've, again, like 8 discs. There's a lot of variety in Chocobo music, and it's not even fixed per course. It's just they have a pool of Chocobo music to play. If you reset, you'll get a different track. There's like so many different Gold Saucer variations. I think I started talking about it, but left. But off mic, I mentioned that like depending on which date you get a different Gold Saucer Fighter remix of that character's character theme.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, no, there's a lot of music to hear. You know, fucking Mount Coral is crazy. There's the techno remix of Stamp, including the battle edit. There's all the Chocobo Racing music. It's really good. But yeah, so like I've said, in the original game, there's not a scene where you like go face to face with Reeve and Reeve's like, "Oh yeah, I'm Kate Sith. I've been helping you this whole time, you know, blah blah blah." I figure that will have to change in the third game.
Mm-hmm.
And so that will give us some opportunity for both middle manager and for
Oh,
Reeve
come
to,
on.
Nope,
That should have changed. Don't.
No. And this is why I say that Cactar gates
No!
are Sephiroth. Why is that set of gates so much faster?
Ah!
You're berserk right now.
I am berserk right now.
So yeah, there's a lot to be going on. Like there's a return to the Shinra building. which I think we'll get a form of, and it'll be interesting.
Yeah, once we return to the Shinra building, I think that's when we're gonna have a conversation with Reeve and probably see middle manager again.
And that, I think, will work out perfectly because that will probably be the point where Reeve is like... Because that'll be after Diamond Weapon attacks. And, like, at least on paper, like, Rufus appears to die because the top level of Shinra Tower gets blown the fuck up. But you still go back to the tower. You just can't access the top floors. I suspect we'll go back there because we need access to the Sister Ray. And we'll probably meet Reeve. And then that conversation will probably end with Reeve going, okay, just in case your plan doesn't work, I'm going to start evacuating Midgar. Like, I'll get... Because Marlene is in Calm for the final, like, CG scene. So he's going to, like, all right, I'll start moving people. Don't worry, Barrett. I'll get Marlene and Elmira back to Calm, etc., etc. Because at that point, he should be the de facto boss of Shinra because Rufus will be presumed dead. The Turks are all out of your hair. I mean, unless they give us they give us the 4-way Turk fight. Shout out to fucking Sung, by the way. This is the first time I think he's been fightable, and great moveset.
Oh yeah, no. I did like his team up with Elena.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fighting Turks is always still a bitch, though.
Yeah, the fact that they get synergy attacks is, like, rough.
Let me through.
Also, if you're curious why there was so little Reno in this game, it's because, unfortunately, Reno's Japanese VA passed away of cancer while they were in the process of making Rebirth. And Tetsuya Nomura said in an interview that they didn't want to recast him right away. So they kind of, like, wrote around him. They used dialogue he'd already recorded or recycled from the first game. And so Reno will have a bigger presence in the third game.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, Reno did have to go through some shit last game.
Yeah.
I mean, the first game.
Yeah. He got his ass kicked, and also he had a moral question of, like, hey, should we be dropping plates on people? And Sung is like, well, if you didn't, somebody else would. And I like that Reno and Root are both like, would they, though? And Sung's like, okay, think of it this way. You just returned a lot of energy to the planet. And Root is like, I don't know, but that one doesn't sound any better, boss. Like, all right, okay, you two, take a vacation. Actually, no, what actually happens is he gets a phone call and he's like, guys, your moral questions are cool. The VP needs us. And that's going to be interesting. I wonder if that's going to lend to, like I said, I'm talking about character development I like how Rufus is handled in this game. Like we mentioned it before, Rufus starts like in a position where he's like, no, whole new Shinra, don't give a shit about Sephiroth, the Promised Land, any of that stuff. We're going to collect ultimate materia, and we're going to like fight Wutai. And then slowly, sorry, I'm yawning. Slowly he gets kind of egged on by these conversations with Glenn into looking for the Promised Land in Sephiroth. And I'm going to wonder if the fact that Sung is clearly going to have to take a back foot because he's super seriously injured.
Got the stabbing.
Yeah, stabbed by Sephiroth. The original game kind of like leaves it open-ended if he dies or not. I'm pretty sure this game, because he fucking walks it off, is going to be clear that he's going to live but be badly injured and need to recover. But there's definitely going to be like opportunity because like that's another major subplot in Wutai. Is the Turks are there on vacation.
I don't think it's going to be a
They
vacation.
probably won't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be a vacation. But Elena does get kidnapped by Don Corneo. And so Reno and Rude have to team up with the crew. Because by this point, Yuffie, who still has all your materia, I think, has been kidnapped by Don Corneo as well. Just in case Don Corneo needed to get any skeezier, he kidnaps the underage member of the team.
Oh, God, Don Corneo is such a... I think I need to get my fucking pony in this one. There's a lot of water here.
Yeah, you might need the water vibes. I also say you can't go wrong with Selena just because that gives you your fucking red shell. I
Yeah.
really wish you could fire backwards, though. Please, game, for the next one. You can look behind you. Make me able to shoot my water bubble behind. At least you still do get gold saucer points when you lose.
Yep. All right, so Mega Chocobo,
Oh.
cool. Probably not what I should be using. So.
Not for you need to strategically pick. But
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
like,
I was
let's see
I was in the
here.
middle of looking at the summon material.
Yeah,
That's
no,
right.
I've won fucking 3 races with that pony. I mean, 11 races.
So, yeah, we gotta do Bahamut Type 0, Hades, Knights of the Round, and Typhon.
Yep. One of those is probably going to be like a secret boss or something. Well, actually, that'd probably be Knights of the Round. Probably.
Yeah. Let me see if there's any, like, other weird ones.
I think that's it.
I
Like,
mean,
it-
like, in specific, like, let's see. Yeah, no. Let's see. There's Before Crisis Summon Materia and Summons in Crisis Core. Let me double check to see if there's any, like, weird ones we're missing. No, Before Crisis has still got all the same one.
We have, like, usually, like, there was, like, Carbuncle in Remake that we did that didn't come back.
Yeah.
But that's also, like, the Moogle trio that we're getting in,
Yeah.
that we have in Rebirth.
I will say, I don't think they've done it yet, but that would make sense as the thing for the like special pre-order for the last game. Technically in Crisis Core you can summon a Tonberry. There's a Tonberry knife that you can add like a murderous thrust. And they do have technically the Bahamut Fury, but yeah, I think it's just those 4. So yeah, I think that does leave us room to remaster like Shiva, Ifrit, Rama, etc. I don't know if it'll be an hour to Singularity. We have been going for over 3 hours. Let's see. Have I talked about all my character beats I wanted to? I've talked about how I like Yuffie is in sore need of character development.
Yeah.
Like, they're setting her up for it, but, like, we don't get that payoff yet. It still leaves me hopeful for it. Barrett's pretty good. We're doing a lot of good stuff with Sid and Vincent that I like. I'm very curious how we're going to handle, like, future Kate set stuff and Reeve.
Also,
And
I
we're
am
doing
kind of
interesting
curious to
things
see
with
how
Reeves.
Tifa's going to handle Reef, like, all over again. She was not in a good way at the end of this game.
No, she's very sad. I hope and suspect that because technically the Icicle Village is where Aerith was. I don't know if she was literally born there, but that's where Professor Gast and Ifalna like hid out while Ifalna was pregnant.
Mhm.
That will give us some character beats to like work through some stuff. I'm suspecting that like either Cloud will be his usual taciturn self, or he'll phrase it in a weird way, like he's gonna talk about like how Aerith is just, returned to the planet, or she's still fighting for us.
I think
And,
she's
like-
gonna. I think she's gonna find like still fighting.
Yeah, like I think he will allude to the fact that like he can still feel her presence, and because Nanaki has that moment, I think he's gonna agree with Cloud, and so we're not gonna like get into it. Sadly, no, I don't think you're gonna, not at least for that initial beat. Cloud's got to go to the trauma dimension to get some shit solved. That said, I do think people will like some of Cloud's moments because I suspect they will redo it. In North Crater, when you pick your final party to go check in with Sephiroth, which you don't actually do, it's funny. There's not actually a fight there, but Cloud will give the black materia to somebody, and he will usually, I think it by default, unless you add him to your party, it's Nanaki. He will say, "Hey, Nanaki, hold on to this for me. I don't trust myself with this." and I really hope that beat is still in the story. Like, it doesn't end up mattering because Cloud still gets brain fuckled and some other stuff, but like it's a good beat for Cloud to have that self-awareness to be like, hey, I don't think I'm okay. I need somebody else to hold on to this for me. You know? But there'll be some moments. Playing Rebirth has really revitalized that I really do need to run through the original FF7 again. And I'm debating doing that as a stream. It'd be a little jank because there's a lot of like optional content and there's a lot of like grindy stuff that I don't know if it'll be easy to pull off, like actually getting the gold chocobo and stuff. I don't think there's like an easy way to do that. There's guides at least, so you can look up all the like correct chocobo breeding you need to do, but definitely like there are some core story beats to like re-go over and
How
refresh
did you
myself.
Do that?
Magic.
These birds are magic.
Yeah, it's like I hate that I can just like go like, well, it's a racing minigame, so they cheat, but it is a racing minigame, so they do cheat, and it sucks, but it be how it be. But yeah, like I said, that's the thing I don't know for sure if I want to do as a stream or if I just want to take that time myself. Let us know how you feel about that. We're still working on Metal Gear Solid 3. And I do want to say that like probably would do a full stream run of Rebirth, like how we did for Remake.
Mm-hmm.
Probably let Rebirth breathe a little before doing that. Like,
yeah.
I'm still not done with the game. I've got credits to roll, but I still have the ultimate party animal to complete and like other shit to do. Plus accessing hard mode and chapter stuff. So like I'm not ready for the stream pass of this game, but I could be ready for a stream pass of FF7. I mean, I would play the PS4 version because that has that's what I already own, and also that has built-in cheats to like you can turn off random encounters and stuff, which would just make doing certain sections much easier. But there's a lot to the original story, and like I know you've said that you don't have necessarily a full grasp of memory of the original FF7.
No.
I have watched people play through it fairly recently, with like in the past year or so I've got a decent grasp on it, but even then I sometimes have to like look up the order of events. Because the original FF7 this does a pretty good job of encapsulating the road trip type feel of it, but the original FF7's very chaotic's not the right word, but it's very loosey-goosey. You just kind of like go places and do stuff because, well, I left this area, so that's naturally the next place to go, you know?
Mm-hmm. Let's see if Kate says...
So it's like that. But we could fire it up and check that out. Let us know. We still got to get through Metal Gear Solid 3. Lucky still has to defeat the Fury.
I cry every time.
But yeah, Queen's Blood, great minigame. I know Square's talked about maybe expanding on it further. I'm very curious to see if we'd see either like a standalone game or like a physical print. I know a lot of people are asking Yoshi P to put it into FF14.
Well, people want that PvP. People want to be able to play other people.
That would be very interesting because that's something that you can't do with our current iteration. Like, the AI is pretty decent, but like it's still only versus computer, which can be kind of like how playing most games like this against computers are. You know, sometimes you feel like they're fucking hacking. Other times it's like they absolutely have nothing on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be an interesting vibe. But yeah, like I think the ultimate conclusion of this is just like, God, I can't wait for that third game. That's going to be such a trip. Obviously, you've been playing, which means that I've been doing a lot of talking. Are there any other beats that you want to talk about in this game besides the ending that we haven't really touched on yet?
Let's see here. Let me do a mental, as I have already lost this. I hate the survival camp thing because you only get, like, in this first one, you get 5 cards. That's it. And then you get 2 free cards. And then you do that for 3 rounds. So you only get those 5 cards. But the fucking opponent gets new cards every single fucking time. It's a little gay. It's a little dumb. I hate games where they completely stack the deck against you for no other reason than just to make you suffer.
It's getting a little cooked.
I'm trying to save cards. But let's see here. So, yes, I was able to save cards this time and keep it tied. Yeah.
I do love the subplot for Queen's Blood, by the way, though, because it is just Yu-Gi-Oh.
It is very Yu-Gi-Oh. It's a little too Yu-Gi-Oh, if you ask me.
It is a little weird in a world-building sense.
Also, the
But
thing that kind of pisses me off is even if you do have the Emerald Witch, because this is something fun. If you take the Emerald Witch into that final match, you always get it. No matter what, you will have that card. It is always in your first hand. But it does basically dick all against that opponent.
Yeah, it doesn't actually do enough in that fight, which is like the strat for the final fight is completely different. You still play her because it is important, but it's not like the best. It's wild. But yeah, I think the only specific, because we've talked a little bit up and down Nibelheim. In general, I think I vibe with and like most of the changes they did to like positioning and stuff. The playable section in Shinra Manor as Kate Sith was a little annoying for me.
Oh, it was annoying. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. It's a little weird to like play as him and kind of have to deal with his mechanics. Some parts of it are fun. I had a problem with a specific throwing part of the minigame. And I still want to say, I think that section is a little bad because it's very weird that you don't get a lot of input on it. Because... Oh, shit. That's a little awkward.
What did he do? Oh, okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, Haunted Hotel upgrades. But that specific spot is also weird because you don't get any guidance on that minigame.
You really don't.
Which is strange because a lot of puzzles still give you feedback. Like, you mentioned this, but in Cosmo Canyon, which is a great segment, by the way, the Chocobo gliding's a little bullshit, but just in general, the vibes of Cosmo Canyon are very good.
Mm-hmm.
Great soundtrack as well. And all that extra world building with the gi is like, I don't want to say necessary, but is good.
Yeah.
But when you're doing a side quest where you have to take photos, Aerith stands like roughly where you need to put your camera.
Yeah.
And later, in the Temple of the Ancients, there was a section where there's the weird ancient Cetra rolling boxes.
Yeah.
I grabbed one of those and like I very slightly, like for 10 seconds, was going the wrong direction because I was just holding it, moving it around, trying to figure out where to place it. The camera immediately snapped to move something to climb to those vines. And I'm like, where was this when I was Kate Sith? Like, the game is very helpful at pointing you in the right direction most of the time with puzzles and minigames and stuff. And I don't know why that Kate Sith section was so, like, underguided. It's just a little undercooked. But in general, even that Shinra Manor is okay. They do some good world-building work and some extra fluff. And it leads into seeing Vincent, which is great. Vincent fucking pulling out the card reader and it not working. Kate Sith has to help him turn it on. That's good. Cosmo Canyon's really great. So, like, overall, I like a lot of the vibes in the game. But there's definitely, like, some weird bits of world building is, like, I'm not sure if the Queen's Blood thing is supposed to be literal. Is this a metaphor for Genova? But yeah, I would say we've been going for 3.5 hours. I already gave my like score at the top. I think this game's like a 9 out of 10. It's not flawless, but any of its flaws are outweighed very much by its positives. I think the 90 or so score on Metacritic's pretty good. I mean, you could replace your 1, but I don't think that would actually fit.
No, because this is the Gi Warrior. It lowers attack. Guys, please stop having enemy are like. I know you want to have some duo things, but God, too many of my cards are ally or enemy, lose power. I'm like, the fact that we have entire decks built upon like you killing your own cards off feels weird to me. Like I mean,
there is a strategy for that, but with the way the survival challenge works, I'm not a huge fan.
Like I can't. I've lost this one because
unfortunately
I can't keep enough cards, and I don't get the cards I need at the time I got. Yeah.
It's fairly close, but those Gi Specters work is very awkward.
Yeah, they're good when I'm like I don't like having like. I think
they're basically like your Archdragons, but you can put them on cards you've already placed.
Yeah.
But that requires a lot of Queen's Blood is about territorial advantage. If you lose territorial advantage, no matter what your deck is, you're gonna get cooked.
Yeah, and again, this is a game where you don't get cards; you just get the 5 cards. So I feel like I have to make another deck for this.
You might have to make a special deck.
I know people like that's the joy about card games, making decks to suit perfect situations, but that means I have to play a deck, get my ass kicked, and then go spend a half an hour trying to figure out how this fucking game actually wants me to beat this fucking thing using the cards I have. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm really not.
Yeah, I enjoy deck building, but even then, it's like I still didn't design a lot of decks. I did, make a specific deck for the reverse challenge, because that's very specific. But like, and obviously I made one for the queen, the Blood Queen. But
yeah,
I generally did not find a lot of incentive in normal play outside of like challenges like this to build a lot of custom decks.
Like I do find it fun getting new cards and kind of slipping them in, but having to completely deconstruct my deck and rebuild it from the ground up is something that I'm not
They do have some pre-builts, but they're pre-builts, so they're not going to be perfect. It's definitely a thing where like there were times where I feel like I wish there were more. I know it would be tough because I'm sure the computer would also have them, but I feel like there were times when I wished for more like straight upgrades of cards.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple cases where you get cards that are just like other cards but also have added effects, but generally like it's a lot of side grades and situational shit. And I'm just like, man, I'd really just like a card where I can like fucking take territory like 2 dots ahead of me more reliably, or some more interesting controlling the field stuff. But like I said, I get why they don't. But I feel like we're technically nitpicking about mini games, so we're probably winding this down.
Yeah.
Is there anything else to get into?
I was trying to think of like story beats. I think we got most of them. Overall, I think we recontextualized a lot of people to just not be fucking assholes. Like we did that with Dio because in the original game, Dio just straight up throws you in North Coral. He doesn't believe you when you say no, like Bear couldn't done this, we couldn't have done this. He's just like, fuck you, I'm the leader, and throws you in North Coral, and you have to get out by doing the Chocobo race, because that's apparently the Chocobo jockeys in Gold Saucer then are fucking prisoners, I guess.
Esther's still weird.
Esther's still weird, but it's okay. Esther can be weird.
Yeah.
Dyne, while still fucking crazy, is not psychically so. He's still trying to kill Shendra and see hallucinations with his parent, but he's not. His first thought isn't to go kill Marlene so she can be with her mom. Like I said, Sid still a gruff asshole, but he's not sip your goddamn tea asshole.
I just don't hope he tells somebody to sit down and drink their goddamn tea.
I hope he says it in like a joking manner. It's like, well, we can't, like, he'll be at his house and be like, he's like, well, we can't do anything, so how about you sit down and drink your goddamn tea?
Yeah, something like that. Like, Shinra's prepping the rocket for launch, and Sid's like, there's nothing to be done right now. Sit down.
Drink your goddamn tea.
Take a seat.
Yeah. So I hope it's something like that. I do want to say, I do kind of like what they did with Nibelheim. Like, I do think they are going to, like, mix it with Mediel. I like hearing you talk about it, but I do think it's better that they give some context for Nibelheim, but I do have to say, fuck everyone in that village. Like, this is no longer your home, and like, I'm just like, excuse me. Everyone's like, you need to leave. I'm just like, guys, I am.
Yeah, the Shinra shills suck.
They suck. I'm like,
they're not as bad as they were in the original. Like, the general store lady is still kind of mean to you, but she's mean in a way that, like, she straight up says that Cloud and Tifa are lying. She's like, I've actually lived here all my life. You're fake. This time it's just like, hey, the company bought this town, okay? You don't live here anymore. Don't cause trouble, kind of a thing.
and it's just like, you don't ever actually explain why you're there. People just, like, people find out that, like, one guy finds out that you used to live here. Apparently the entire town then knows, and everyone just gives you the fucking cold shoulder. Except for that one lady who likes to sing. She's all right. She takes care of cats.
Ship, yeah.
She's fine. She's the best. I love her.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that the thing they did with Nibelheim is they just had to reconcile the fact that when you do go back there, just the city is full of black robes for no reason.
Yeah.
This at least like gives a logical reason for it. That seems to be another big reason why we changed stuff is just, okay, so we had something that just existed as a plot beat because it was 1997 and we only had so much disk space. We have to explain why. Why are there so many black cloaks in Nibelheim? Where does the black materia come from? Hey, it turns out the Gi are fucking space aliens, and now they're like undead because they can't return to the life stream, so their ghosts are just stuck here. And they're really nettled about it.
I mean, I'm going to be realist. The realist, I would be too. I was like, we can't leave. We can't go anywhere. And the Cetra say, get wrecked, nerds. Well, fuck you guys.
I don't know if the Cetra, like, are actually stopping them from getting into the life stream. It seems to be more a function of the planet.
Well, I do think they are trying to keep them from getting a live stream because I'm pretty sure the Gia would fuck it up somehow.
That, at least, I know that, like, the Cetra absolutely, like, did some dunkle on them to get the black materia back because they're like, you're gonna blow up our planet? We are literally the stewards of the planet. We are not allowed to let you do that. I do like, though, that, like, we talk about the fact that Sephiroth, like, originally had in his head that, like, the Cetra were betrayed by humans, because that did kind of happen, but the temple sets it up like, this was clearly seeded, this was a manipulation, a psyop by our enemy, the Calamity from the Stars.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me that, like, we're not going to get a full explanation of that until the third game. They've managed to technically, on paper, keep the full breadth of what that means under their hat. And I appreciate that.
No, we gotta
like,
have some mysteries.
The temple does straight up spell out that Genova is the name of the Calamity of the Stars, but doesn't explain that at all.
Also, on screen, I love this. They have this fucking section set up for what is clearly going to be the snowboarding minigame. Like,
yeah, we're straight up coming back to the Gold Saucer next game.
Yeah. We're presetting it up.
We're gonna reuse these assets. I think it's gonna be very easily explained as well, because, like, you're gonna hopefully you're not gonna be able to leave the North Continent until after North Crater, right? There's no reason for you to backtrack. So, the game's gonna be kind of, like, narrowed down. By the time you get out of that, you're gonna have access to the Highwind, so it's gonna be really easy to just say, oh, we just, like, everywhere where we have, like, airstrips or boat docks, that's gonna be, like, airship docks now. Like, you're gonna be able to park the Highwind places. And that they're going to explain that's how you get back here.
Mm-hmm. Was there a reason to go back to the Gold Saucer?
I think it's mostly just for minigames and optional content. I said this before. There are a couple times where just the crew needs a place to have a meeting, and they go back to the Gold Saucer a lot. Because it's, like I said, it's the only place where you could actually catch a nap and not, like, get arrested. And Dio did give Cloud a lifetime pass.
It's true.
That said, I suspect once we get the Highwind, we're going to have a lot of our meeting of the minds just in the Highwind because it has a command room for that reason.
Oh, man, I do hope, like, the Highwind becomes our collectible collector.
Oh, I suspect it will. Like, because there's a lot of space in there.
I hope we have to do another minigame when we're fucking on June on still in the Highwind where you have to go collect the 7th.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
And then there's the also the fact that, like, I wonder if they'll bring it back, but in the original, the Highwind has a Chocobo stable built in, so you can tactically deploy Chocobo. Because yeah, you get to, because the high wind can only land on open ground. You do have to occasionally like take your chocobo and get out, you know, to get to certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
So like I suspect that will probably keep up. So that'll be great. A great way to get, you know, Esther or Billy involved again.
I would lean towards Esther probably, because I do think Billy is going to be on that chocobo conservation. Maybe they'll be working on it together.
Yeah, like Esther could be your contact, and she can hang out in the High Wind. The High Wind has a lot of subtle character stuff in it because you can walk around it. You know, like Yuffie's usually on the lower deck puking her guts out. Sid obviously is usually flying, but he has a whole cadre of Shinra pilots. And I don't know how they're going to do it, but I hope they keep this subplot back in. There's a guy that when you first get the High Wind is like rookie pilot, and as you go through the story, he slowly levels up until at the very end he's High Wind pilot level 99. I hope we get that energy back.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like I said, there's literally a conference room on the High Wind that I suspect we're going to use for a lot of these scenes.
Let's just have a full-on just crew training for the High Wind.
I'm pretty sure there's a guy you can just talk to in the High Wind to rest, so I hope we get, like, crew quarters.
The game has been, like, very free with just letting you just rest, but stuff like benches and stuff, like, you know, things, like, don't actually, like, cost skill. Like, you don't have to spend money on resting in places. So I'm pretty sure that the High Wind probably will have, like, quarters that you can just top off whenever.
Yeah, there's a couple of inns you have to pay for, but some of them are just like, nah, you're good. Like, Lucky could go to the Ghost Square right now and catch a nap if he wants.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, I do want to say, I love how that came back, that lady who says she got bit by a zombie, and when she comes back, she's just a Two-Face model.
Yeah. And she's like, points. Thank you.
There's some good shit. This game's got a lot of love and detail in it. I appreciate it. But yeah,
I think it's about time we get out of here. It's
almost 7 o'clock. I gotta get some dinner because we're still gonna run. We're gonna run Singular Door later.
You need to rest your voices. You're gonna be doing a lot of talking.
Yes, I'm already a little scratchy. I gotta get some food, get some soup, technically, because I'm gonna get instant noodles. And like drink plenty of water and hydrate before we get to that. I do think last week's episode does still need to be uploaded.
I will double check that.
Yeah, so we'll get on that. But thanks everybody for tuned in. We got a few viewers back and forth. There's a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, Rebirth's a great time. I do think it was important to like show the ending and kind of talk about it beat by beat because it is a little. There were so many moments I was like, "Is this the end? No, this isn't the end yet. We're still doing stuff. Like it keeps going." A lot of vibes. But yeah, we can wind down. Thanks so much for joining us. Stay tuned for Metal Gear Solid 3 tomorrow, I guess.
You mean 4 hours of the Fury?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it'll take you 4 hours. You'll get them eventually. You did some practice. But we'll do some Furying. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I guess we'll talk to you later.
Have a good one, everyone.